Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's only answer to Harry Kane.
With his boy Marcelo, America and Brazil's #1 Spurs fan. But I'm deciding to give that one to Will. But we're deciding on that. I'm deciding whether I'm gonna be humble or not. But I'm definitely Brazil's #1 Spurs fan. It's the hype man, bringing you the emotion, the action, the desire, the passion. You know it, you love it. Come on.
No, screw it. You're more than Brazil's lad. You're South America's #1 Spurs fan.
Oh, yeah.
And look, today we are joined by making a special appearance, Jack Kanicki. Jack, welcome to Frenemies, my man. How are you?
No, look, it's an honor to be on Frenemies. It's, sitting amongst two legends here, going to try to hold them back from, jumping through the screen. And, we're going to be talking player ratings, and it's going to be a cracker, I'll tell you.
No, 100%. Look, guys, we all thought we needed a moderator for this one. So Jack is the man to come in and bring the calm. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this, guys. It's going to be a player ratings through the whole squad, for the whole season. Jack has provided stats, to kind of give me and Marcelo a bit of a balanced view. But as we know, there's some players, there's just no telling me that they're going to be good enough. But look, all the stats, that are provided today are from Jack himself, made up by Jack, put into the PowerPoint presentation by Jack. So I want to say thank you to Jack before we do get going. For the stats and everything else to help take this show to the next level. And look, before we get into it, make sure you already have smashed a like on the stream or subscribe on the channel. Don't be afraid to get them super chats in with your thoughts, opinions. It doesn't even have to be on player ratings. It can be anything. It can even just be a small donation if you love the channel. And look, we're going to welcome a bit of the Harris Army into the building before we get into it. We have Cody Mack. He says this could get ugly pretty quick. Yeah, frenemies can sometimes, but that's what we love about it.
Yeah.
Carl Simpson, this is going to be fun. Yeah, 100%. You know it. Marcelo, honestly, some of these comments, man, they're insane. Like people love the frenemies, man. They love it. We have Shashan Beast. He says, hello, big up yourself. Sue and Smith, David and Marcelo, the greatest duo since Chaz and Dave. Hashtag Harris Army. Look, we can be the new Chaz and Dave. All Marcelo has to do is get down to the registry office. I'm Dave. Just get Marcelo down there and get him to change his name. We have Chaz and Dave. New duo. All for you, Sue. We have Robin Aurora. She says, it's magic, Mauricio Pochettino. He's magic. Come on.
Oh man, if I'm able to sing that again, I'll be so happy.
Sing it at Monday. Sing it tomorrow.
I hope so. I hope it's not a ploy just to get people to renew their season tickets. And then next thing, Harry Potter arrives in. Chris says, evening all, don't forget to smash the like on the stream. Big up, Chris, for that. Everyone, don't forget to do it. We also have John Fitzpatrick, Best Spurs channel on YouTube, my man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John. I really do appreciate the love, my man. I really do. Lionel Messi says, hello, lads. Lionel, hello, how you going? You're not the GOAT, no, Ronaldo is. I'm going to keep telling you every time.
No, I'm sorry. Messi is the GOAT. Messi is the GOAT. I'm sorry. Messi is the GOAT. You know what? That should be another frenemies. Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah, we will make that frenemies. We will, 100%. I'm going to win, though.
No chance. No chance.
We have Philip Brady in. He says, going to be some interesting ratings, I reckon. You know what the story is, my man. And everybody, Philip Brady, he will be coming on the channel on Tuesday with Arthur and Simon Comer. I'm just going to let the three boys just talk away. You know what I mean? Hopefully they bring all their memories, from years gone past, memories of watching Spurs lift trophies, and everything else in between. We're just going to let the boys have a conversation. So make sure you tune in for that. I feel it's going to be an absolute cracker of a show. Big up, Philip. We have Priyash in the building. Big up, Priyash. We also have Stefan Blois in the building. Oh, we've gone straight to the bottom. We have Shamu. Big up, Shamu. What an absolute legend. We have James Redmond. We have Stefan Blois. Big up, Stefan. We have Bjorn Ing T. Still upset Chelsea won. Next year we must win something. 100%. Big up, Pete from the lane. My guy, what an absolute legend. Big up David, Marcelo, and Jack. No, Pete, big yourself up, man. Honestly, you don't know how elate I was when you came over. Telling me how much you loved the channel, how much of a fan you were, and for a picture and everything else. You made my trip, my man. Thank you so much. I really, honestly, what a guy this guy. We have John Ratcher. He says, "Hey David, from your name, David Harris, you can make the words Irish far." Yeah. 100%, my man. Mr. K is in the building. Big up, Mr. K. How you keeping, lad? We have David Power. He says it's going to be a good one. You know what the story is, lad. You know it's going to be a cracker. We have Fiona Harris, the sisters in the building. Well, Davey boy, hashtag Harris Army, can't wait for the entertainment. And you know what? She absolutely hates football. She despises it, but even she tunes in for the entertainment. She doesn't watch any other show but Frenemies. Ballsport TV in the building. Big up, Bob. How you keeping, my man?
I had to wear the hat. I had to get the hat.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We have Stephen J. He's a huge fan of Marcelo. Big up, Stephen. Come on, guys, get your comments in for Jack as well. I know you all appreciate Jack. You love that Wednesday show. I know it's a bit of surprise, but he's here. You know, a testament to the job he's doing. We also have Theo Shilton in the building. Big up, Theo. Who else have we got? We've got the regular. Big up the regular. You have ATX7 Gaming. Big up David and Marcelo. ATX7 Gaming, big yourself up, man. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, we have loads of people here in the building. We have Jason Groves. You know, absolutely, this guy, absolutely, I love listening to him. He cracks me up at times as well. Absolute legend. We have George in the building. Big up, George. He says, all right, Dave's timekeeping. Yeah, no, look, just trying to suss out a few things in the stream. That's all, my man. Probably should have done it a bit sooner, but look, I've had a busy day yesterday. I was in prison. I was over in the girlfriend's mother's house all day, kept captive, you know. So a busy weekend. Wayne Bonner, he says, evening all. Big up, Wayne. Oh, what a legend. What a legend.
Absolute legend.
Absolute
also,
legend,
big up Kenny Urban, a.k.a. Cal. He's from our group chat. He always has to hear me ranting, so big up now. Yeah.
He must love it. He must love it.
Sometimes it can be a little bit too much. I'm not going to lie.
Big up Joe Lombardi as well. Big up, yeah, Kenny Urban. You know, big up. Alexander Hilton, he's in the building. Big up, Alexander. Absolutely love it. And big up Dave as well. Dave, you know, no more excuses. Want to see you back at Astro next Friday. You know, you were making excuses there last Friday. I want to see you back at Astro. THFC Hard Talk. My guy, what an absolute legend. The guy on Twitter, he tags me and everything. I don't miss a beat with that guy. Sean Moran, he says, Marcelo, where's your hat? He's gone and got it. Big up Terry Bishop in the building as well. Absolute legend. Sorry if I've missed anybody. The comments are off the chains. It's skipping here like wildfire. You know, so look. Oh, Luke is in the building. Luke plays foot. He says, love your content, big man Dave. Used to wait for you on We Are Tottenham TV, and now great to see you on your own channel. Big up, man. I really appreciate that. What a comment that is, you know. The fact you used to wait for me on We Are Tottenham TV. You know me, I always sign in last after the game. I need to calm down, you know, and then I go on, sit backstage, chill out, go on and give my say. So big up for waiting for me all the time because I'm usually near the back end. So absolute legend. I appreciate it, my man, and thank you for coming to the channel. Make sure you have smashed and subscribe, Lukey. Abdul Kareem, he says, what's popping, everyone? My toast isn't popping anyway because I'm on stream, lad. So not my toast. We have Wayne Bonner with the super chat. You're later for the stream than a Winks pass. No, 100%. 100%. About 20 minutes.
Blame it on me.
But look, Wayne, keep that enthusiasm for the Winks rating, my man. Keep that enthusiasm for the Winks rating. You know, everybody else, big yourselves up. Absolute legend. And Dave's ankle, he says his ankle won't be healed by then, Dave. He's getting old. Put it in ice, man. Where's that Roy Keane mentality gone? You know, crying because he feels a pain. Get back out there, man. Get them boots on and you know, show me what you're made of. That's what I say to you. But look, guys, before we get into it, Marcelo, Jack, anything you want to talk about?
No, I'm just ready to just go at these players. Honestly, I what I've been waiting for all week. When David, you know, we were supposed to do a frenemies on Saturday. David said, I'm doing player ratings on Sunday, and I'm like, I have to be there. Just get me in there, whatever it takes. Just do it. Just let me in there. Put me in, coach.
Absolutely love that expression. Look, Marcelo's like a raging bull. He's waiting to go. Jack, anything you want to say before we get going?
No, it's beautiful to see Marcelo put on the hat. We're putting on the battle hats today. You know, I'd like that Marcelo's is a slightly different color just to represent the frenemies even further. You know, it's going to be a battle, like I said, and I can't wait to moderate.
No, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
You're gonna, Jackie boy, you're gonna have to really get those reins in, man, because you know.
treat us like your reindeer, lad. You're Santa, we're your reindeer. Get them reins on us, man. Let us know what direction you want us to go in. But honestly, look, we may as well just get straight into it, Jack. So we may as well just get straight into it. Everyone else, while we are getting into it, feel free to get your super chats in on everything that's going on around at Tottenham. Jackie boy, take it away.
Absolutely. I'm just going to start sharing my screen. We're going to get into that PowerPoint. We're going to get started. I can't wait to just see what these guys have to say on some of them. It's really going to be a cracker. We got the Frenemies edition of the Spurs season player ratings. So we're going to start with the big man behind the sticks, Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris, he's played 38 Premier League games this season. He's played all of our games. He's had 45 goals conceded against him, and he's had a penalty, like an XG for goalkeepers of 47, which means that he's actually kept out fewer goals than expected. So you have to say that is definitely the signs of a good keeper. He's definitely had a little bit of kind of a poor season in terms of passing. You can tell that he definitely ranks pretty low down here in terms of passes attempted. He's practically, you could argue, maybe one of the worst, actually, keepers on the ball in the Premier League, given that we are a team with a lot of possession. But then again, I don't really want to, gripe on Hugo Lloris. He's been an absolute servant to the club. He's had that great interview after the Dinamo Zagreb game. He's been a true legend to us. And to be honest, he's absolutely made some world-class saves this season that I definitely can remember. So then again, I would say, he's had a solid season. And so if I were to just think of every game, on average, I would probably give him a 7. But then again, I'm going to go now to Marcelo and David and see what they think.
Marcelo, do you want to take it away?
Look, I'm just going to say
I don't think they can see us, Jack.
I don't think they can see us, Jackie boy.
Oh, they can't?
No. What do you do, though?
Oh, shoot. That's odd.
Oh, there we go. Look. I love Hugo, and, part of me wants to give him an 8, and part of me also wants to give him a lower score just for laughing at that Everton game. That 2-for-2 Everton game where he laughed with Aurier, for me, automatically brings him down to a 6. I don't care what he did on the pitch. He, as a captain, he doesn't speak up. Sure, he speaked up at the Zagreb game, but fuck's sakes, man. Like, that was after we lost a disgraceful game. Like, why didn't you say something before the game? So we could win. How about showing leadership on the pitch, not after a bad result? Anybody can, say, oh, we had a bad performance. We were spineless after a spineless performance. But what was the spine before the game, bro? You're a captain. Where was that spine? Nothing, bro. All season, same thing. He's a great goalkeeper. As a goalkeeper alone, I give him an 8. But just for those things, the leadership, where was it, bro? You went missing. This guy, you can find him in a milk carton, for captains. You honestly, for me, it was a 6. It was a 6 because I don't just judge on just performance alone. I also judge on mentality. And for me, his mentality was poor, man. He's looking like a guy on his way out. He doesn't seem, like laughing when we're out of top 4. David, were you laughing when we drew against Everton? Were you laughing,
No.
Jack? Imagine your captain laughing when we're locked out. For me, that automatically gives him -2 points. 6 for Hugo.
Look, just before I have my say, everybody watching, there's 136 years. Put in the comments what you're going to rate Hugo Lloris. Put it in the comments, let us know. Jack will be taking over the comments, bring them up exactly why I'm speaking like this. Perfect. So look, for me, with Hugo Lloris, it's a tough one. Look, first of all, I hate the idea that he's captain. For me, he doesn't really inspire me. He's not captain material. I don't favour goalkeepers being captains unless they're a huge personality. For me, Hugo, he doesn't look like he's a huge personality. In terms of the performances this season, look, there was a month where he was awful. Liverpool, there was Brighton. He was absolute. But look, the whole team was awful. But there's a couple of goals I cannot forgive him for this season, and I've seen it a number of times where the ball's coming in the 6-yard box, it's crossed. Dive out at it, come out and collect it. He's standing on his line. Right now, granted, the centre backs shouldn't be caught flat-footed the way they are. They should always be on their toes, anticipating the ball coming in. And, you know, I've seen a couple of times. There was Liverpool. There was another game not so long ago. Player comes in front, taps it in. Look, anything in the 6-yard box, Hugo Lloris should be commanding that. That's his little area.
Every time he gets the ball, man. Every time he gets the ball, he looks like an old man with arthritis, bro. What the fuck? You know,
but this is the thing, right?
Ball kills me every time.
He's rooted to the spot, Marcelo. He doesn't come out. He's not brave.
He's on quicksand.
He's afraid to get clattered.
I got to back you up here on a stat here because you're exactly right. He never comes out of his area. He ranks in the 29th percentile of all keepers in the Prem of coming out of his air tag.
Shocking.
That's 29th percentile. If you think of all the keepers, that means what? Like only maybe four or five, maybe ahead of him who are worse than that. And I think also for for actual crosses that he's deflected or stopped, he ranks in the 9th percentile.
Yeah. See, this is my problem with him. You know, for me, a captain has to be a great leader. Now, if he can't lead, he can't even control his own box. How is he supposed to lead a team? And this is the problem. Look, for me, I do think that he's had some great games, though. He's had some great games. For me, I probably agree with your rating of a 7. I'll probably go a 7.5 because for me, he probably has been one of the. If you look at the squad overall, he's probably been one of the better players this season.
Yeah, but what about that
laugh? That's not going to if that's an indication of he's one of the better players, you can imagine some of the ratings that are going to be handed out here today. Yeah. So for me, I'm going to stick with a 7. I think it's fair because some goals he's cost us, but he's also saved us an awful lot. And for me, honestly, I think he's been a great servant to the club. I grew up watching like Ian Walker, keepers like that, where I was just pulling my hair out. So for me, I think he has been a bit of a steady Eddie, but I want more. I want more. Yeah. You see these teams up the top. Kasper Schmeichel controls his area. You know, that box, he's very commanding in there. Ederson, Alisson, all these sort of players, right? And they're all teams at the top of the league. Hugo has to step up and do that now. So for me, I'm going to stick with a 7.
I'm going to go with the 6.
I think Marcelo's made a good point with the 6. You know, he did kind of have that calamitous, just, on-camera moment with kind of the laughter, similar to, maybe to a similar degree. I don't know, like maybe a quick sidebar. I mean, what do you guys think? Kind of similar to when we saw Winksy, laughing at Jack Grealish going past him. I think it was kind of to that degree.
No, he wasn't.
Winksy doesn't deserve he doesn't have the credit in the bank. He doesn't have the credit in the bank. What he was doing
is the smell of Jack Grealish's aftershave was so good. It brought
he just wanted to sniff him.
Face. But because that brought a smile to Wink's face, we should be happy because Winks is happy.
No, you know what it was.
Because the aftershave was so good, you just wanted to smell it. That's all it was.
You know what it was, David. He wanted to smell the sweat from Jack because he doesn't know what an athlete looks like. He doesn't know what an athlete smell look like, so he needed to get a little whiff. See what sweat really looks like. Right. What an absolute just wanker he is.
So it looks like we settled on a 7.5, a 6, and a 7. What were you going to say, David? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, just back to you on 2 things I forgot to address actually quickly is the comments after the Zagreb game. I have a slightly different view to Marcelo on this, but in a way, I'm going to be fair, right? So my view to it is that listening to some of his comments, for me, without actually calling them out, he's calling out the likes of Winks and Davies and players like this, right? Which kind of confirmed what me and Marcelo were talking about all season, that there's just little slimeball, sleazebags, weasels in this team who would rather, have their own agendas. And the reason why is because they're never going to go to another club better than Tottenham or on the same level as Tottenham. Yeah. Their careers digressing and so on. So they're hanging on at Tottenham. Right, so they're like you've seen the cycle with Pochettino now. They're getting rid of managers so that they can hang on here for as long as they can. But now they've been exposed, and Hugo's comments kind of exposed that. But big but, don't come out and make them comments
after we lose
if you're not going to back it up. Yeah. And this is what I've seen a recurring theme this season from players, mainly moon boots, especially the back end of the season. But coming out with this
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be a long one. We'll get on to Moon Boots shortly. But, we've seen this recurring theme where players are coming out talking in the press and not backing it up. I'm of the opinion, don't say nothing in the press. When you're performing, come out and do what you want. I couldn't give a shit. You know what I mean? I really couldn't give a shit what you do once you're performing on the football pitch.
Yep.
So, just stay up. Like when things are bad, just stay off social media. All you're doing is irating fans. You're just pissing the fans off. just stay off it and just constantly, because what I'm seeing is so rather than being out there training, say for instance, Moon Boots practicing kicking the football, is he just sitting in the locker room tweeting all day? Is he sitting in the locker room doing all these, interviews and stuff rather than out there training, dedicated to improve himself? So for me, I have a slightly different view, but at the same time, back it up on the pitch, which to a certain extent after that, I think Hugo Lloris probably did pick up his performances. And then the whole thing about laughing on the pitch, look, my opinion on that is, right?
That's what pisses me off.
I grew up watching the Premier League in the good old days, right? Call me old-fashioned, I could not give two shits about it, right? I grew up watching Keane, Vieira fighting in the tunnel. You know what I mean? I grew up watching teams do shit house moves on other teams just to get an advantage, right? Anything they could do to put them off. Now it's all buddy. You've seen it with Jack Grealish and Davies there against
fellow,
it's all friendly. But Hugo Lloris laughing after being bet. Honestly,
our captain.
You know what I mean? I want to see you bullying. I want to see you calling our players out on the pitch while heading for that tunnel full steam ahead, being pissed off. Not standing there doing all this little shitty, butterfly high five, all this sort of knuckle touching bullshit, having a good joke. Oh yeah, hiding their team from the camera like there's some like people care. Oh yeah, what time are you coming around for dinner at tonight, mate? And then they're sitting around having a glass of wine. Oh, you made 3 mistakes today. Yeah, I know, but sure, it's only football, lads. We're all on 200 grand a week. What do we care? So in a way that pisses me off. I want to see them just be pissed off and walk straight down that tunnel. I'm not standing there slapping each other and laughing at each other. It pisses me off. So actually, thinking on that, I'm actually going to give him a 6. I actually agree with Marcelo on that. Yeah. 6. He's getting a 6.
He's our captain. He's our captain. And he's laughing at a fucking draw, man. For me, that's an automatic. I don't care. I don't care what the credit in the bank is, bro. You get a -2 at the end of the season. You already get an automatic -2.
Yeah.
Unforgivable.
We got 2 6s. I might drop down to a 6.5. I'll just stay a little bit above, maybe just because I'm a little bit nicer. I've been guilty of it in the past of giving these players too much of an excuse. So I'll take that burden right now again. But I think that's exactly right, Marcelo.
Well, to be honest with you, in hindsight, you can change your opinion. But Jack, you based your opinion on the stats you read, so you're probably right. But there's just some things that me and Marcelo can't forgive, lad.
Oh, but I mean, the stats only show so much. Like we said, the seeing eye and what we see our players doing on the pitch. I mean, at a certain point, you can only tolerate so much of the attitude of the players, no matter how good they are.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the case with even the likes of Neymar. No matter how good Neymar is, sometimes that attitude and things, just can be a little too much.
Yeah.
That's another discussion for another day. Actually, I'm going to just stream on that. But the mentality nowadays, honestly, compared to it's different. It's a joke. Probably have a lot more to do with social media and everything else. But honestly, no, that's a stream for another day. I won't even get into it. Sorry, go ahead.
We got a super chat in here, though, from Wayne Bonner. Big yourself up, Wayne Bonner. Says, Hugo was laughing at Winks, thinking he's a player.
I would do.
Yeah. Probably laughing that he gets even a paycheck at the end of the day for playing football, because, to be honest, I don't even know where I could see Winks playing after this, to be honest, after this season. You're exactly right, Wayne.
Yeah, Waterboy. He'd be playing Waterboy in the new movie. Waterboy 2.0. That's what he'd be playing. He's an absolute useless. I've never seen such a worse footballer. Honestly, when I seen him pull out,
David, just save it when we get to Winks. Just save it. Just save that energy.
We'll do a quick one. We'll do a quick one to take our minds off of it and give your ratings right here in the chat. Unfortunately, I don't have stats for you guys for this one. We're going to be talking very briefly about Joe Hart. So what do you give Joe Hart at the end of the season? I'm thinking at the end of the season, I actually am going to give him quite a low rating. He does have that kind of dressing room, positivity, that dressing room kind of addition to the mentality of the club, but the mentality has been shit. So to be honest, I don't even really know what he's done. And the reason I'm going to give him a 5 this season, even though he hasn't played any football. Generous. Even though he hasn't played any football, is just because if Hugo did go out the season, if Hugo kind of, let's say, had a Van Dijk where he went out in the very beginning of the season, and if Joe Hart was our backup, we would have been falling back to 14th or 15th in the Premier League. I guarantee you that. So I just got to say, Joe Hart being our backup is just an absolute shame.
Yeah. Marcelo, do you want to go first? I actually have 1 or 2 things I want to say on him.
I'm going to have to say for Joe Hart, I would say a 3. Every time he's played, he was awful. You know what I mean? He let in some shocking goals. I remember, what was it, against Lask? The guy just literally shot the ball at him, and the ball went in. You know, he even looked shaky against Marine, for fuck's sakes. Remember, it hit the crossbar. You know, all you had to do was just, lop it over, and he pulls his hand. You know, Marine nearly scored against us. He nearly got scored against fucking part-time workers.
There was one in Europa League as well.
The last game, he let about 3 goals in that were all savable. You know, Joe Hart for me.
If he let one in against Marine, I mean, yeah.
Oh man, I mean,
if he let that in,
and Jack, those guys literally after the game went home, went to work, got back home and kissed their wives. Literally. This guy almost conceded to those guys, bro. They're part-time workers, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, the farmers.
David probably met them at one point in England. You know what I mean? Probably had a beer at the pub. That's how Joe Hart nearly conceded to those guys.
Yeah, the guy fixing your cable. The guy fixing your cable. You could have a war story telling you almost scored against Joe Hart.
Yeah, man. No. For me, Joe Hart, absolutely. You know what? No. Even worse, one. Absolutely useless. Yeah, couldn't even play in the FA Cup games. Could barely play in the FA. He couldn't even play against Wickham. I don't even think he played against Wickham. That's how little Jose trusted him. He couldn't play any of the Europa games. What's good for a backup keeper? Why did we loan out Gazzaniga if we're just gonna let him go the next season? Why did we loan him out? Gazzaniga's a good backup keeper.
Why did we think we didn't need a good backup keeper?
We had one. Gazzaniga was a good backup.
But we were exactly.
I just don't get it. Absolutely one. Okay, he's good at cricket. That's about it. That's the only positive.
Yeah, fantastic.
Honestly.
We're still shaking.
Look, for me, go ahead.
Got a super chat yet again from Wayne Bonner. Big yourself up, Wayne Bonner. Thanks for supporting the Frenemies show. He says, Hart, the crossbar was a better keeper than him. I mean, it is Hart's best friend. I mean, probably, at the end of the day, Joe Hart probably calls his post every day, probably checks up and see if the post is just right, the dimensions for him, because, it's the only thing that's keeping the ball from the back of the net when he's behind the sticks.
Well, it was like that gif I sent you yesterday, the Colombian keeper doing the scorpion kick off the line. That's what Joe Hart thought he was attempting in his mind. But look, with Joe Hart, right, this whole thing that he was signed, because of his character, he's a winner, right? Now, first of all, the guy went from the heights of being at City, to not even being able to find a club, right? And then we signed him as third choice and he accepted it. He got worse at City and it was declining. Let me tell you why. Now, anyone that listens to the Peter Crouch podcast would have heard this. Mm-hmm. Now, he said, Joe's a great character, as in like a party boy. He's a great time. He's a great laugh. Not he's a winner. So this whole shit, look, they cut the crap. They signed him because he was, it goes with the homegrown core. Right? You look at most teams around the league. City have Scott Carson there. You know what I mean? Because he's homegrown. They throw him in. And that's why we signed Joe Hart. And just, for me, he's just not good enough. He really is. Big up Joe as well. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. And I would give him a 1-2. I really would. Because, honestly, he annoys me. The only reason why he was brought to Tottenham is so that the likes of Harry Winks, Dele Alli now, getting his hair done. They're probably all going to be on Head and Shoulders now this season. Head and Shoulders sponsored by Tottenham. Joe Hart, Winks and Ali. You can see it right now. Them all washing each other's hair, having a giggle. You know what I mean? Honestly. I want the guy. I want him gone. I know he doesn't really feature much, but when I see these boys playing cricket in the dressing room, that's why we're not winning games. It
was bad when we started losing.
And he's playing cricket with these boys. He gets his wickets and he's running around like he's World Cup winner, right? You know what I mean? It's an absolute disaster. Get him gone. If I see any more clips come out of these guys playing cricket, I will lose my shit. Right? First of all, right? Cricket is the shittest sport in the world.
Yeah.
Right? I don't understand how cricket players get injured. I really don't. You see on Sky Sports News sometimes, you're waiting for the new transfer and then cricket comes on, you're yawning and, so-and-so can't play, he's injured. And you're like, what? Half of them stand there. That's all they do, stand there. You know what I mean? And that's probably why we've been the way we have been this season. Because they all think they're still playing cricket on the pitch, all standing there. Get Joe Hart out of my dressing room. Get him gone. He's a clown.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a
Absolutely.
0. Big fat 0. That's what he deserves.
1 is 0, and I originally gave it 5. I'll drop it down to a 1 as well. Wayne Bonner, though, he says Hart wishes he was as good as that Colombian. I mean, to be honest, I think Hart should just learn to just save with his feet only, because we could just tell he doesn't
Can't
know
use
what to
his
do with
feet.
his hands.
That's
Can't
how he
use
got.
his feet.
That's what happened in Man City. You know, like Pep Guardiola goes like, "All right, can you pass with your 2 feet?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, boss." And then like he just got sent to Burnley. You know, like that's what happened, bro.
He couldn't even get in at Burnley.
Oh man! And then he's our backup. A guy couldn't even start for fucking Burnley.
Well, like this is the thing, and just quickly, this is why I hope Poch comes in, because them good times where they all come in having a laugh, they're all buddy, right? That'll be gone. The work ethic will actually be installed back in at our club. Yeah. The most unbearable part of this season is watching players taking the piss. If they were giving it their all and they were losing, I can accept that.
Yeah.
What I can't accept is 0 work rate, 0 work ethic. There's people that go to factories 50, 60 hours a week, sometimes extra overtime on a Saturday and Sunday, so 7 days a week, just to make ends meet, just to give their families that little extra bit of something, you know, for birthdays and stuff like that, just to make their lives a tiny bit better. And you have these guys taking the absolute piss. Players like him will be exposed when Poch comes in, and hopefully gone too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And and even like you said, win or lose it, we just want to see work ethic back in this club, and we had some really bad losses under Poch, but there was never a game where we just gave up, where we went there where we didn't try, Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly right. I think we're settled. I think we got a 0 or a -1. Is that what you said, David? What did you give him? A 0?
Yeah, no, just big bad 0. Yeah.
Big fat 0 for Joe Hart there, and then a 1 for Marcelo. And I mean, you guys
10 for his hair, 10 for his hair, 0 for his football ability.
Oh my gosh, them washing each other's hair for a commercial, that would be hilarious.
You can see it now. They're all flirting each other in the hairdressers,
in the Tottenham shower room. But yeah, I'll give them a 1 as well. We're gonna, I think, move on back to the PowerPoint here. I'm gonna go maybe for, what should I do? Yeah, do something like this here. And I'm gonna share my screen back and go to that PowerPoint. We're gonna be moving on, I believe, to the one and only. It is the Irishman himself. It is gonna be Matt Doherty.
Oh God.
This is going to be quick because he's played barely anything, so this is going to be quick.
He's only played 1,240 minutes this season, 0 goals, 2 assists. He played 7 games in the Europa League. He had 2 assists there. He's played 17 matches in total in the Premier League. Matt Doherty, it's an interesting case. I mean, in no way, any shape or form is this man spectacular. I mean, he's not really that spectacular going forward this season. Obviously, he isn't supposedly playing in his preferred position, but I think if you're a right wing back, you also have to be able to play right back as well. I think it's a little ridiculous that you have to be that pampered too. His passes into the final third, which is a very important kind of statistic if you want to look at right backs, because that's when they're making it past the halfway line. They're kind of, as high as the strikers, and it's kind of like, can they make that pass into a dangerous area? And that counts as like a pass into the final third or a key pass down here. And obviously he ranks in the 17th percentile amongst right backs. All of these stats, we're comparing him against other right backs in the Premier League. So it's not, influenced or, by like the Kevin De Bruyne's or anything in the world. This is him against all the other right backs, and he ranks that poorly. You can see in progressive passes, that's only a pass that's 10 yards or more. He's in the 43rd percentile there. You see in terms of defense here, these are pressures. We all know what pressures are. That's just when you run up to the opponent, try to take the ball away from him, or just try to make it uncomfortable for him. He ranks pretty low in pressures there in the 15th percentile and in the 2nd percentile there for successful pressures. I mean, this guy pretty much does not know how to play.
You gave him a 4!
And I gave him a 4.5.
You gave him a 4!
I wanted to start off the basis.
You just said all that, and then I see a 4. I wasn't able to see it from the comments. He has a 4. Oh, Jackie boy.
I didn't know how hard we were going to go. I think everything's going to be, I'm realizing everything's going to have to drop probably 3 points today. This is going to be glorious. I can't wait to see Marcelo react to the rest of these.
You said all of that, then I just see a 4. He's lucky to even get a 3 from me.
I love it. All right, let me finish here, Marcelo, just to make myself look even more ridiculous. Just to make myself. He ranks in the 28th percentile of tackles, and then ranks in the 7th percentile of tackles won. This man cannot win a tackle to save his life. And then also, if you combine tackles and interceptions per game, he ranks in the 32nd percentile there. So clearly, this guy does not know what he's doing in the right back position. I'm going to be exiting the screen and take my beautiful face and everything away from this, and I'm going to let Marcelo unleash on me.
Honestly, I was loving the stats. I was loving it. I was like, this is good. You know, you're exposing Doherty here. And then I see a 4. Now I'm disappointed. 4.5 too. Not only a 4, 4.5. You know, like, oh my goodness. He gets a 2. And he's lucky, bro. He only gets a 2 because he actually showed up in the pitch and he didn't take the piss out of us this season. At least he knew he was shit and he kept his mouth shut. You know, like at least he didn't, you know, go out in the media and say, "Oh, I'm great, I'm a legend." You know, spread my ashes here, spread my ashes there. At least he just, you know, he kept quiet. He was shit. He knew he was shit, and he just kept it to himself. That's the only reason he gets a 2. All right. Other than that, this guy is the worst right back I've ever seen at Tottenham. He can't go forward, bro. You know, and then people were telling me, oh, but he's a right wing back, Marcelo. But then when we played him, you know, a back 3 and we played him right wing back, he was still shit. You know, like he's useless, bro. This guy couldn't even start for, you know, Transmere's Rovers or some shit. You know, this guy is a League 2 defender. Get him out. Get him out. Sell him this summer. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Go to Arsenal. That's where you belong. That's where you love to be. You know, just go to Arsenal. You know, you're a big fan of there. I showed their love you. You know, just get out. You know, this guy, honestly, this guy played, and not North London Derby. He played more for Arsenal than he played for us, bro. Every time Tierney kept going to him, he's just like, go on, lad. You know, like he just let him go through him. You know, honestly, I was watching with David. I'm like, David, is this a replay? Because, like, literally, it just, like, go on the right and just attack Doherty. Go on the right and attack Doherty. Yeah. Attack the right. Attack the right. That was the whole game.
But having Trippier back at right back. Long ball in behind Trips. You know?
Oh, man. No, Doherty at 2. Absolutely woeful this season. He had one good game against Leicester. That was about it, bro. And that was a decent game. That was a 6 out of 10. That wasn't even like an 8 out of 10 performance. Average, bro. Mr. Anonymous. You know,
this is why I love Marcelo, is because I bring in all those stats. I sound all smart, and then Marcelo just sees that little rating in the corner. He brings me back down to earth and just makes me look ridiculous. And I absolutely love it. I can't wait for the other ones. I mean, I can't.
No. Listen, I'm not trying to.
I was gonna say you catch me because I'm always way too nice to these players. I'm always way too nice. I look at it, I'm like, he seems to be the worst in the league at tackling. I give him a 4. Where it's just you know, you're bringing me back down to earth. So it's the good tag team duo right now. He's bringing realism into my heart, into my brain.
Look, Jackie, you can have your ratings. I respect it, but I'm sorry. For me, he is no more than a 2. I'm not trying to disrespect any. Listen, if anything, you probably know more than me. You've probably done you've done your research. I'm just saying how I see it. That's all it is.
Yeah, look, for me, there's 170 odd people watching right now. Make sure everyone has smashed a like on the stream. If you're new, make sure you smash subscribe on the channel. I need 11 more subs to reach 2,600. You guys, if there's anyone new, help me reach that target. I'm 11 subs off it. Also, don't be afraid to drop in your super chats, with your questions for the panel. We'll take all questions. Let us know who you like. Whether you think Pochettino is coming, whether you think it's just, apply for the season ticket holders. Let us know on the your player ratings for these people, and everyone in the chat also let us know your player rating for Doherty. Now on to Doherty. For me, look, we paid for this guy. I know he's Irish, right? But I couldn't give a shit. I really couldn't give a shit. I'm Tottenham first. I'm Tottenham before everything. I'm Tottenham before my missus. Tottenham before, everything else in the world. And this guy, we spent money on him, right, for him to come out and play one game at the end of the season. Right, and this is why I say, in a way, the fan base don't learn, right? So for me, I thought what I was seeing in the Europa League, I thought it couldn't get any worse. Then he rocks up against Arsenal, right? Now, the same move caught him out over and over and over again. I'm sitting there on the watch along with these guys, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, boys, like, he's jumping out chasing the ball, right? So he jumps out, they play it inside, playing in behind him. And he's just, when he jumps out, he's leaving that winger there. Just drop back. Drop back until someone comes over and help you. Why would you expose yourself? You know, every single time, Tierney done it to him. Into the middle, out in behind Doherty. And, you know, then last game of the season, he comes in, what was it, against Leicester. Being a good game. Everyone's, oh, maybe he can play. Maybe we keep him for another season. I'm sitting there, I'm like, look, we signed this guy all season for one game at the very last game of the season. No, that's not why you pay your money. You want the full season out of him. This guy was supposed to be the answer for right back. This guy was supposed to come in, bring us that attacking intent we've seen at Wolves, you know, getting balls into the box. A bit like Reguilón. Okay, Reguilón's being suspect defensively. But like going forward, like Reguilón, getting balls into the box, getting in when the ball's coming in from the right-hand side, getting into the box, getting on the end of teams, making them driving runs. That's what we thought we were getting. No, we thought we were getting Doherty. Instead, we got dog doo-doo. You know what I mean? Honestly, the guy, he winds me up. He winds me up, you know. And do you know what winds me up more? Is every time he gets exposed, the camera goes to his face, and you see him, like, pulling this face, like, and it's like, oh, I'm trying. I'm in the zone. And I just feel like slapping him across the back of the head and saying, wake the fuck up. Wake up, buddy. You're in a game. You have the Tottenham Hotspur badge on your chest right now, and you're playing like dog shit. Dog shit, Doherty. No, for me, you know, the only reason why he gets it too is purely because, you know, he's Irish. That's it. He's getting it too. People may say it's harsh, but, you know, in fairness, his performances are harsh to me. I found his performances harsh. So, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not gonna give a guy anywhere near like a half decent rating for one game this season, the very last game of the season, so we can climb into Conference League when we should have been climbing into Champions League. So for me, you know, the guy gets it too, just purely because he's Irish, and that's it. Honestly, Arsenal probably will be looking for right back this summer. Do some sort of magic and get him there to Arsenal. Just get him there to Arsenal. It'd be brilliant to see him getting exposed week in, week out, wearing that red jersey on him.
But I forgot, Marcel, what brought him up to a 2 again for you?
Oh, what brought him up to a 2? Just because he didn't take the piss. He just shut up and
he kept quiet.
Yeah, he just kept quiet. You know, like, honestly, like, at least he didn't take the piss. You know, that at least I can appreciate.
All right, I like it.
No. To be honest, he hasn't kept quiet, Marcelo. He's still been in all these Tottenham videos playing these stupid games. But stupid games all season.
To be fair, that's every season. Whether, you know, it's a good or bad season, that's, you know, I don't take those too harshly, because that's, you know, they're supposed to do that, you know, like the new FIFA game. They're supposed
we're playful. Yeah. Be men on the pitch.
Well, it's part of their contract and their job. So, you know, I'm not gonna hate on him too much for that. You know, he's not taking the piss and saying, well, I had a good performance, I had a good season.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure. You know, like, or, you know, I don't really see him playing cricket that often. I don't really see him, you know, doing what a lot of those other guys.
Cricket is barely existent over here.
Yeah, so, you know, at least I can respect that. You know, I can somewhat respect that. You know, so yeah, no, he hasn't taken the piss, so that's why he gets it too.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the people have given them 0s, 1s, 2s, 3s. I think so pretty atrociously and very, I would say nicely, I gave him a 4.5. I'm going to drop that down to a 3 now that I've been absolutely convinced. I'm giving them too much of an excuse. So if you guys are ready, I can move on to the next player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's bounce.
All right, let's do it. Going back in.
1 second. I'm just going to change my top quickly because I am sweating, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, it's roasting here. I need to turn on the fan and, you know, get some air on me. Honestly, I'm like, it's like I'm in the queue for McDonald's. I'm sweating. I'm getting that excited. Give me a minute.
Oh, Bobo the clown. Oh, all right, God.
Marcelo, before you react to my rating here, we're going into Serge Aurier. He's played 19 Premier League games this season. He's played well over 1,300 minutes. Compared to Doherty, so you don't really have to mention the minutes he's played. I think the stats, you know, are, you know, pretty accurate considering the amount of games he's played. He's had 2 goals in the Premier League and 3 assists. He played four matches in the Europa League, 0 goals, 0 assists. All these stats here, like I said before, they come from Football Reference or FB Ref, so you can check up on them if you like. And all these stats are comparing Serge Aurier to other right backs in the Premier League only. So it's just Premier League stats. So if you actually can tell, he's actually had a pretty tremendous season. If you think about the aggression that he's shown as a right back this season, he's absolutely he's one of the most aggressive right backs I've ever seen. He's not really the most skilled actually defensively, which you can kind of see down here. I'm going to point to it with my little laser here. He's been dribbled past at least 1.68 times per 90, which ranks him in the 15th percentile of right backs. And then he also is kind of...
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just listening to you here quickly. 1 second. Do you know that dribble pass stat?
Yeah.
Does that is that minus all the time he's been dribble pass and giving away a free kick?
I think a dribble pass, if he gives up a free kick, yeah, that would count.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so if someone were to dribble past him and he then fouled them, if that counts as getting by him and then he has to foul them, that would count as being dribbled past. And then the percent of dribblers he's tackled is only 41%. But you can kind of just tell, at least, he shows a lot of aggression. He shows a lot of pressures. He pressures pretty high up the pitch. Even in the attacking third, he can get pretty high for his position. To a degree, when you look at even his tackles and interceptions together, it's in the 98th percentile. But if you look at his interception, it's only in the 56th. And then this is what I was kind of getting to, or we might not all know, is that his errors down here, he has about 0.1 per 90, which you could then basically calculate to being about 1 every 10 games. And then he ranks in the 3rd percentile there. I think he's pretty much the worst in terms of errors per game. An error can be, giving up a penalty to giving up a really clear chance or free kick in a dangerous area, handball. It can be plenty of things. His passing stats, he's done quite all right. But then again, it's not really spectacular. It's better than Doherty, but I wouldn't say he's really pulling up any trees here, especially when it comes to a lot of players here. None of our players can really play long pass for their life, at least accurately. And to be honest, it's really quite sad, to be honest, to see, again, one of our right backs only playing this many passes into the final third and this many key passes. So at the end of the day, Serge Aurier, I would say, is a better right back than Doherty. I wouldn't say he's spectacular in any way. He's definitely always been a very aggressive right back, but this has definitely been the last season I would like to see him in a Tottenham shirt. But when you look at some of these stats, you do have to give him credit that he is, when he's up for it, when he has the right attitude, he is an absolute menace in terms of being a nuisance to attacking players, but he certainly isn't, like I said, the most skilled of defenders. So I'm going to finish it off and give him a 5.5. I'm going to exit out of here.
Shamu, give him a 9. Nice. Shamu,
yeah,
I want to know. I want to know what you're smoking, bud. Shamu, give him
Even
a 9.
Chris says, "Yeah, I'm generous." Chris says, "I'm generous" right here.
No. Yeah. I'm not saying you. I think the 5.5 is actually fair, Jack. I actually agree with the 5.5.
Tell me why. Yeah.
I think for half of the season, I think Aurier has actually been pretty good. I think the other half, he has been pretty poor. But the reason why performance-wise, I would give him a 5. Right? I think he's hot. He's been hot and cold this season, which warrants a 5. But for me, his attitude and the games in which he didn't perform, I have to give him a 3. I have to give him a 3. Honestly, that Zagreb game, the most disgraceful, disgusting performance I've ever seen from a right back in my life. That Leicester game, disgraceful. But he's also had some really good games, like the United, the Liverpool game. He also had a great game against West Brom. He's had some really good games. Well, not West Brom. He didn't play the West Brom game. But, he's had some really good games. So I would give him a 5, but he also laughed when we drew to Everton.
He was part of that crew with Lloris.
He was part of that crew. And even worse, he also left in halftime in the changing room when Lloris confronted him. So you know what? Just for those two things, I got to give him -2 points. So I was going to give him a 5. Now he gets a 1.
Would you, when you take this into account, what Bob Spurs said, and also good evening to Bob Spurs as well. Good to see you on the channel. But I think this is a clever point. I mean, I didn't really take this into account, like a lot of kind of the personal elements to the players. I did not take this into account, and I do think this is a huge deduction of points for Aurier here. But sorry, I interrupted you, David. What were you going to say?
Yeah, no. Look, for me, Jack, just while I'm speaking, do you want to just click on everyone's comment and get them up?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Just for me, look, even before Bob Spurs' comment came in, he was getting a 0 anyway. Because honestly, the guy can't control, and he can't control the ball, he can't pass the ball, and he cannot cross the ball. Right? I've seen that guy go to cross the ball and balloon it into the stands. Right? Honestly, for me, that guy should be taking conversions for a rugby team. Right? Because that's what all kickers are in rugby, failed football players. Let's be honest, right? Because they have 2 left feet. For me, the guy, right, he's useless. His mentality is shocking. You know, come the big games, you know, if the game is in the balance, you can rely. You can almost go down to the bookies, run down to the bookies, put on a bet. Serge Aurier to give away either a free kick or penalty that leads to a goal. You can bank on it. It's safe as houses. Put your house on it, right? This guy, for me, I get it. You know, he had a good start to the season. Like most of the players up until November, and then started becoming Bobo the Clown overnight, you know. And then, you know, one of them last games recently, I can't remember which one it was now, you know, because I'm trying to erase this season from my memory, but he was god-awful. I was actually furious. I was just like, you know.
You mean the Man City game? The Man City one, where Raheem Sterling had like a mealtime with them.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to get onto that one. I'm getting onto that one. But before that, it was one game recently. And, you know, at halftime, I was that furious with the fucker that I was just like, you know, honestly, I just to make him perform and embarrass him, to get that, to get him to cop on, send him out with a clown wig and a nose on him, you know what I mean, and make him play, because that's why he gets named Bobo the Clown. I don't give out nicknames lightly, right? I either have to love you or I either have to hate you, right? And, you know, there's a reason why I call him Bobo the Clown, because he's just an idiot. The guy's a fool, right? Then the City game. Honestly, right, I knew it was coming, because at one stage Sterling bet him, and the only place he had to go was cutting back in to put a ball across the box. Same thing Sterling does all the time. Where does Serge Aurier go? You know, oh, no bother, Sterling, I'll go and get you the paper, I'll run to the shop and I'll be back, right? You know, he goes over the sideline, lets Sterling get the ball across. The danger signs were there. Then he doesn't need to foul Sterling, and he fouls him, right? Led to the goal. Lost us the cup final.
Absolutely.
He done it under Pochettino against Juventus. He gave away a penalty that led to them, you know, kind of knocking us out over the 2 legs. So for me, this guy, honestly, ever since he's got here, I've hated this guy. I just, honestly, whoever handed him a professional contract should retire, and they need to go to Specsavers and get their eyes checked, because they must be seeing 4 balls. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, honestly, my eyes do not lie to me. Right, you can give all them stats, right? Fantastic, love it, and I do love them. But my eyes don't lie to me.
Yeah,
my eyes do not lie to me.
Yeah,
right. The guy is useless. He is useless. Right, on his day when he wants to, and let me say this: when he wants to, not every week for all the fans like us who deserve it, who tune in for it. But when he decides he wants to turn up, he can turn up. But that's why we have this culture at Tottenham, where we go and win games you don't expect us to win. Then games where you expect us to win, we don't perform.
We have too many of those players too, who decide to show up. You know, who decide when to show up. So for me, the Clown gets a 0, but then he walks out on the team at halftime, right? People can make all the excuses they want for him. All the excuses they want for him. Oh, look, you know, he's had a tough time, whatever. You know, everything probably got on top of him and he walked out. Could not give a shit. You're in the heat of the moment, 90 minutes. The reason why you're paid to be a professional is because you're supposed to be able to block everything going on in the outside world and put it in for 90 minutes. You know, the guy was useless, deservedly took off, right? And he goes off sulking for it. He goes off sulking, goes to a team bus and abandons the team, you know? And for me, it's unforgivable. So for me, he's actually getting a -10. I don't want him here. Take the cash and get him gone. -10. I've never rated this guy. Never.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%.
We got a super chat before you go, Marcel. We got a super chat though from Dark Sun G. He says, if you leave at halftime, you let your team down -1 or -1. I mean, Dark Sun G, you're absolutely right.
Put a 0 on the end of that, Dark.
Thank you always for the support, by the way, though, Dark Sun G. Big up for being in the chat today. Yeah, what were you going to say, Marcelo?
No, I was going to say, for me, the only reason I got to give him a 1 is because, you know, just because of last season, you know, he still, I know this is like sentimental, but, you know, he still played, you know, whenever we need him. You know, he did back down from the team, but he still played.
We have a stream of Alex here.
No.
Are we sitting next to Alex?
I'm just saying he did play when his brother died, and for me, I will forever, have some respect for him for doing that. Because like God forbid something happened to my family, there's no way I'm gonna be playing for Spurs. My family
Yeah.
comes first. So
Yeah.
I gotta give him somewhat respect. He would have gotten a 5 this season had he not walked out on the team. Since he walked out on the team, I'm giving him, 1 is generous. I'm gonna give him a 0. A 0. 0 is generous. But for me, just because of that, I will have to, give him some respect. But he gets a 0 for me.
Look, for me, I agree with you. It's probably the only bit of respect he's earned for me over his Tottenham career is playing after his brother died. Fair play. But honestly, everything else he's done at Tottenham has overshadowed that. So for me, honestly, as harsh as it sounds, it's players like him we don't need at Tottenham. Just quickly, I think this is a new super chat from Dark Sun G21. He says, Bobo lost us 3 big games, Man City, Liverpool, Leicester. Yeah. Jack, and this is what I was going to say before Marcelo spoke. You have competition now that Dark Sun G is watching because he's also a man of stats. So you could have a stat up here. You never know. You can't.
Yeah, you can't put that. That is a good one right there, and that is just the essence of Aurier. Is he shows up in the games maybe when you don't need him to put in his best performance, and then when it's against the best teams, when you need his best, that's when he absolutely falls apart. Yeah,
so. Sure. People were praising him after Sheffield United, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, guys, this is a team that are checked out. They're relegated. They're on holidays. They think they're in Portugal already. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, but he done this, he done that. And I'm like, yeah, but what about when we actually needed him? What did he do?
Yeah.
Oh, but Sheffield United, come on, give me a break. And this is why some of the fan base never learn. Because we're praising him, for a game against Sheffield United. And this is what annoys me. Like, we're praising these guys for beating a team that's already relegated and for showing up for that game. There's other games, these guys should be showing up for that. They're not. And we want to praise them for Sheffield beating Sheffield United. Give me a break. The sooner the guy's gone, the sooner he's out of his dressing room, the better. Honestly, the better. Please, just go this summer. Serge, if you're listening, please go. Just please go.
He also did spit out a fan, so he gets a -5. I remember that, actually, against the Olympiacos game. He spit out one of the fans after the criticism. What an absolute egghead. So, move on to the next player.
Yep, -10 it is.
Shane O'Neill for the super chat. Just give it a read there. He says, does everyone forget this Egypt spat at our fans? There you are, Shane. Another thing we forgot about. So, big yourself up and thank you so much for the super chat, man. What a legend. Everybody else, keep getting your super chats in with your thoughts, opinions, and everything else. And I know a lot of you have probably spent it out and about this weekend. It's been great weather. But, if you have anything there, don't be afraid to help the Irish Hotspur.
And then we got another one before we go to the next player from Dark Sun G yet again. He says, if we win those games, top 4 and a trophy. If we didn't have Serge Aurier as our right back for those games, maybe if we just put Tanganga in, we probably could have at least gotten something out of those games. So you're absolutely right, Dark Sun G. We're going to be moving on to maybe the infamous GPS Sanchez for the next one. I am a little worried about how this is going to be received by everybody, but it's going to be a tough one. So I'm just going to go into the stats. There really isn't much.
Yeah, that's fine. It's low. Go on. Sorry. I was just going to say the rating is what I care about on this one.
The rating's down here on this one. So we kind of let's just look at his passing here. This man barely plays any progressive passes. That means any pass that has 10 yards forward or more. Plays 1.76 per game. Barely plays anything into the final third per game. Look at this. He's just in the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. He pretty much only plays safe passes, as we've seen from a kind of a seeing eye test this season. He's only just playing the safe passes back and forth between him and Toby, and he still even fails at that for the most part. Fouls committed, he commits a pretty, a lot of fouls. 1.5 per 90, which ranks him around the 12th percentile. It's not something I'm too discouraged by, but then again, sometimes there have been plenty of needless fouls in certain situations, and that probably is why you would see him down here for penalty kicks conceded. It looks like he's conceded the most penalties as a center back this season, and that does make sense given that it seems like he is a living, walking penalty waiting to happen sometimes when he is playing. This is one surprising stat, I think, as well. As I had always had the impression that he was very dominant in the air compared to the likes of Toby and Eric Dier, but he actually ranks quite poor down here in terms of his actual aerial win percentage. If you also then move over to his actual defense, he's quite aggressive, similar to Aurier. He likes to press up, likes to get in their face. But then again, he does get dribbled past, a bit more often than other defenders. And he also doesn't really, this is kind of an important stats. These are kind of blocks, and like blocks that are kind of shots that are on goal towards the keeper. So when you have those moments, when you see the Toby, sliding in front of Lloris to save the shot, so Lloris doesn't have to save it. These are these kind of stats right here. And he just basically shows that he's never there in the right position to help Lloris or help his defense. He also ranks quite poor in interceptions, so it means he kind of explains how he kind of switches off a lot, isn't really, there 2 steps ahead. And that's what I'll kind of finish with. I think Davinson Sanchez has been kind of just the classic, kind of seems to fall asleep in games. I think he's a bit of a living, walking penalty. And so, similar to Moon Boots, I think he's pretty much atrocious. I don't think he really deserves any more game time. But the only thing I would give him ahead of Moon Boots is just maybe his age. So maybe there is still that time to grow, but I really don't think so. So I'm going to give him a 4.5. I could see it being a lot lower after we talk about this, but that's what I'm giving our GPS Sanchez.
You see with Sanchez, I don't have any like personal like disdain or like hate for Sanchez. He's just shit. Like let's just prove he's shit.
He has the composure. He has the composure of a sex addict walking through a bar.
No, yeah, he is. Like, but like for example, like Aurier, right? The reason why for example, I really dislike Aurier, because of the out of field stuff, all this stuff that he does. Like I really dislike Harry Winks. I really dislike Dier. Like these players I really dislike. Sanchez, I don't dislike him. I just want him out of my fucking club. I just don't. He's such a bad defender. Honestly, like every time the ball goes bouncing, it looks like he has a tracking device. You ever seen Dragon Ball Z, David? Like when Bulma has a tracking device and she's looking for the Dragon Balls, bro. That's what he's like. He's just like spinning around, like looking for the Dragon Balls. Whoa. Like honestly, bro, it's a joke. This guy is like, like the amount of times David and I and the watch-alongs have to be like, oh my God. Yeah. Like we're actually shocked.
He looked like Homer Simpson against Man City. Remember that? Face first down in the dirt. Do. Oh my God. It's just crazy, man. Like David and I even get surprised at how bad he is. But look,
the chat's blown up on Sanchez. This is great.
At least, his attitude off the pitch wasn't shit compared to other players. He just has a weak mentality. He has a soft underbelly. He needs a GPS tracking device every time the ball's, goes up in the air. He's just a shit defender. He really is. And for me, he gets a 2. And the only reason he gets a 2 is because he kept his mouth shut, like Doherty. He didn't, do all these, saying he was good. He just kept his mouth shut. He was shit, and he just accepted it, And that was what it was. So he gets a 2 from me.
I love that point that Marcelo, he gives them all a 0, and then he gives them a point for accepting. They all accept that they're shit, and they just shut up.
To be honest with you, I can't even give him points for that, because to me, like that's another
David,
part of the problem. But we have a couple of super chats to get to.
But you can't tell me, right? Like, like, wouldn't you appreciate a player that, is shit and knows he's shit and just, like, keeps it to himself? Or would you, like, for example, like a Dier where he is shit, but he's so delusional that he comes out and says he has a good season? Like, that actually pisses me off.
To be honest with you, obviously the first one's more tolerable, but I don't want any of them. They're both losers. So
no, I know, but like, I just been so annoyed by these players over the season, thinking that they're good, that like at least I can appreciate a player that knows he's shit,
Yeah, I can understand. But anyway,
Stefan Blois here
with the get to, and then I'll have my say.
Yeah, absolutely. Stefan Blois here with the super chat. What's up, Stefan? How you doing? He says Sanchez has all the attributes except a brain. I mean, that he really does. I mean, he absolutely has the perfect physique. He actually looks very athletic. He's very quick. I mean, he can catch up to the likes of Mane sometimes. I mean, he's absolutely rapid, but he just seems to fall asleep during games. It's almost like he doesn't like playing football. It's like he gets bored or something when he's playing back there. I mean, I don't know why, because he can't even pass the ball. So I don't know why he's so switched off all the time. You would think that you'd be terrified, but no. Dark Sun G, yet again, another super chat. Big yourself up for always supporting the Irish Hotspur. He says, Sanchez's own goal against West Ham led to 3-3. Yeah, yep. That's Dark Sun G again with the stats. I mean, he just knows. He's having a stat
off this guy. He's getting jealous, Jack. He's having a stat off.
He's going to do me up. He's going to show me up. But you're absolutely right, Dark Sun G. And also, thank you for the super chat. And also, thank you for always stat checking me and making sometimes he's making my points better, or sometimes he's making my rating look even worse, So I love it, Dark Sun G.
You should combine.
Yeah, we should. We go tag team duo. Oh, bring that back. Loves music. Big up, loves music. He says, Davinson, what monologue? What is this?
Oh, Davinson Minogue. So it's like Kylie Minogue. Marcelo knows. I do sing it sometimes for him. I'm spinning around. You know that song? Kylie Minogue released it. So Davinson Minogue, I'm spinning around. 100% knows music. Absolutely love it. I've been singing it on the watch along. Honestly, if I was this guy's manager, I'd send him out with an earpiece and I'd just say, turn left, left again, sprint. You know what I mean? That's what I'd be doing with this guy, because he's incapable of thinking for himself, right? Anytime the ball goes over the top of him, right, he looks at it like it's a fucking rocket, and then he goes, oh, shit, I'm centre-back. I may run after this. You know what I mean? He's an absolute buffoon. The guy, right, there's a reason why we gave him the nickname GPS, because he doesn't know where the ball is. Yeah. It's like when you're driving in your car. In 300 meters, take a left. You know what I mean? Honestly, the guy is so stupid, right? Yeah. He doesn't know where the ball is. The one thing you're taught, every player, striker or midfielder, whether you're following in shots or trying to read a game, and a centre-back, do not ball watch. Honestly, at times, he may as well have been a spectator in the stand. So, honestly, he may as well have been. He may as well have been a cardboard cutout, put him in the stand. He'd probably block more shots there. Because the guy, honestly, the own goal against West Ham, what he done against City, simple ball over the top, just a little few steps backwards, header it. What does he do? Looks at it, spins around, like Kylie Minogue says, and then he goes running, right? Not only that,
it's almost like a cartoon character.
Face plants the turf.
Yeah.
Face plants the turf, right? I've never seen this from a centre-back in my life, right? Never, ever seen it from a centre-back in my life. There's great centre-backs at Tottenham over the year. I'd say Ledley King was sitting on the bench looking at him. And just like, what has Tottenham become? Right? I came through the academy. All I done was cost Tottenham wages and gave them great service. I'm a legend. We paid 42 million for this idiot, right? To do that. To do something no one has ever seen in football. And as soon as it happened, me and Marcelo were saying, this is going to be clipped up and put on social media.
Yeah,
before the game even finished. Boom. Tagging me and stuff. Everyone.
Honestly, it's just taking the piss, David. Music. Just taking the piss. This guy, every time he plays, you might as well put the circus theme. It's just like joke, man,
Everton, right? The guy gives away a few goals and then goes up and bangs in a few goals. You're just sitting there, you're like, well, if you didn't give away the goals and you scored your goals, we would have won this game.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, anytime anyone runs at this guy as well, he gets his legs tangled up like a cheese string. Do you know when you put a cheese string apart and tangle it all together and stuff? This is what this guy does. And,
he's like Bambi on ice.
Right? Yeah. When he has the ball, right? When he has the ball, it's even worse. I feel like vomiting. Because, I'm a football fan. I love football in its purest form. Just doing the basics is enough to give me a hard on, right? But you see this guy, right? He's on the ball. No one near him, and he can't wait to kick it away. He has as much composure as I do around an all-you-can-eat buffet, which you can tell is not much, right? That's how much composure this guy has. And honestly, another one that has to go. 42 million, I don't care. Cash in, give me 8 million and get him gone. I know Marcelo saying that he just accepts his shit, but that's also a part of the problem at this club. And I'm sick of these weak, spineless losers. You have people saying, oh, he's potential. He has pace. If he has pace, send him to do track and field.
Yeah.
For you know what I mean? Send him to Tottenham Athletics to do track and field if he has pace. Yeah. That's his career, not fucking football.
Let him run out of the fucking club if he has pace. Let him run back to Ajax.
Sign him as a trainer.
He's so fast. Just let him run back to Ajax. Please, get him the fuck out. I've never seen a more brain dead defender. Honestly, every time he gets the ball, he looks like a newborn cattle. You ever seen a newborn cattle? You know how their legs shake? It's like I've never seen a player like so scared of getting the ball in my life. His legs start trembling. He literally starts doing like the wobble, every time, like his legs, man. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Just one touch and just pass. One touch, pass. It's just like it's ridiculous. This is stuff that you learn in fucking middle school, David. If you see the shit, if I saw the shit that Sanchez does and Sunday league, or out with the boys, not even Sunday league. You know what? If me and my friends had a couple of beers, right, and we're drunk, and I see them do the mistakes that Sanchez does, we'd be having a fight. And we're fucking, pissed drunk. You know what I mean? Like this guy is just like, he is so bad. I'll give him a 2 because you know what? At least he keeps his mouth shut. So I'm gonna stick with the 2. But he needs to go.
We think we missed the super chat though quickly. Yeah, from Dark Sun G.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Dark Sun G. Thank you again for another super chat. He's kind of referencing back that other stat that he mentioned with the 3-3 draw with West Ham. He says, if not for Sanchez, we would have ended 6th. West Ham 7th. I mean, there it is right there again. Dark Sun G leaves you speechless sometimes with these stats, and he just
this guy must have a supercomputer. I like this guy. I like it. I always love seeing his comments come in because he always has something that he listens very carefully, and then he goes to his supercomputer and he comes up with a stat. He's absolutely brilliant. Big up, Dark Sun G, man. We have Alex Davies, Sanchez's biggest defender. He says, "Here we go again, David, playing FIFA again." Alex, what I'd say to you is, if you're defending him, it's a ridiculous comment because you're the one definitely playing FIFA. In FIFA, he has the pace, he can get back and make a tackle if you're exposed over the top. But in real life, we've seen what happens in real life. He face plants the ground. So if you're defending this guy, City, face plants, Alex, if you're defending this guy, honestly, you're the one playing FIFA. Way too much FIFA.
I don't even use this guy in FIFA.
Just give the constant a break, Alex. And by the way, I just want people to know, me and Alex do have good banter. This is banter between me and Alex, if anyone doesn't understand. But Alex, honestly, you're probably playing FIFA right now. Put down the controller, go back and watch a few games, and you'll have a different outlook. But big up, Alex. I hope you're keeping well, man. But please, you promised me last week you'd start getting real. Let's get real, Alex.
Yeah,
come on,
get real.
Man.
Yeah,
big up, Alex. I do like him. He's so funny.
Yeah.
All right.
On to the next one.
Yeah. What did we? Let's reiterate though. I think what did we finish with Sanchez? Right. What did we? You gave him a 2.
Give him a 2.
I
me.
Think I gave him a 4.5.
So look. Although he did put in a block, a good block against Leicester.
He had a good run.
One good block against Leicester. He showed what he was in the team for. Ball over top of Vardy. He got across, made a block. Put in a couple this season, to be fair.
At least he tried.
Just for a couple of the blocks and at least he tried. Unlike other players, I can accept trying, just being shit. I can accept trying. Yeah. So on the basis of him trying, a lot of the fan base will be happy by me saying this. I'm going to give him a 3.
I like a 3. I like a 3. I'm going to go down to a 3 too.
Yeah, 3 is fair. I'll give him a 2 just because of the face plant, though.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Alex, it's coming. You just wait, my man.
Oh man.
All right, guys, it's gonna have to be a drum roll here. It's gonna be a big drum roll because it is the one and only
0, 0, 0.
Oh, we should
0,
have.
0.
You could have put moon boots up there.
0.
Come on,
now, Jack. Put moon boots. So it is the moon boots. It is our moon boots. He's played 28 matches this season. You're 6th in the Europa League. I mean, the stats, this guy is just absolute garbage at passing here. You can't even, maybe he makes a couple of long passes a game, but he's doing it with a 67% accuracy, 58th percentile in the league. Just look at this defense right here. Look at these defending stats. This guy, it's almost like you would rather have, honestly, Harry Kane would just be absolutely sensational in comparison to these stats for defending here. Tackles. This is a center back that has played 28 games, 9th percentile in tackles, 8th percentile, and even his own defending 3rd for tackles. Dribblers tackled, 30th percentile.
He's never going to have good tackles though, because he's so slow. He can't get.
He doesn't want to tackle. He wants to. He's like, he thinks he's Maldini or something, where he doesn't have to ever make a tackle, but he actually is shit, and so he actually does eventually need to make the tackle. But he's taken the Maldini quote too much to heart. And with the pressures here, he ranks in 6th percentile for actually being successful in pressuring a player off the ball. And then actually, when you look at his tackles and interceptions as well, if you look at his interceptions, he's in the 23rd percentile. And if you combine his tackles and interceptions, he's in the 7th percentile. I mean, anybody that's defending Moon Boots after this, I don't know what you're defending, because maybe you're defending some of his passing or distributing, but I mean, that's still pretty atrocious. If you can see over there, I mean, this guy cannot defend to save his life in the center back position.
Jack, if they are defending him, at least they're defending, unlike Moon Boots.
I mean, there's just no excuse. And also, I mean, sometimes we have noticed that he kind of switches off when the ball is in the air. He switches off when there's kind of a ball coming over the top from a corner or from across. You look at his aerials lost here. He's in the 41st percentile of aerials lost. It means he's guaranteed to lose a pretty bad aerial. And I think of the aerials that he has lost have been in very crucial situations, the ones that we have always mocked Moon Boots for. And my player rating there is no player rating. Just get out of my club. I mean, there are no stats in the world that can honestly defend this guy. I mean, if Dark Sun G can find something to defend this guy, I'll absolutely concede and give Dark Sun G the crown if he doesn't already have it. So I'm going to come back to you guys here. I mean, what do you give the infamous Moon Boots, guys?
Do you want to go first? I got a whole rant for this one. Honestly, if you just want to go first, I'll just wait.
Just quickly, Dark Sun G21 is in. He says Moon Boots equals Voldemort. You can't say his name, -20. So, look, Dark Sun G's not even going to argue with you, Jack. So you're in mutual agreement on this. That's brilliant.
We got another quick one. He says even Southgate dropped him. He lost to that. He lost that to Fulham. Yeah, Dark Sun G, absolutely brilliant. Also, thank you for the super chats. Sorry, David.
Absolute legend. Everybody else, get your super chats in. Let us know whether you think we're being harsh, whether you think we're being realistic. If you want to get your player ratings in, do put them in the comments. If you want to super chat it, why not super chat it? And if you have any questions for the panel as well, or if there's anything you think we missed, get it in. Let us know. And make sure you have smashed the like on the stream and subscribe on the channel too. Obviously, that's important. But with Moon Boots, look, honestly, there's a reason why I gave him the name Moon Boots, right? It's because anytime he kicks the ball, he kicks it into orbit. You're thinking, like he's sitting there thinking, oh yeah, what would Toby do? He'd spray it right. Right? He sprays it right into the River Thames. That's where that goes, right? Because he's just, honestly, right? Half of the times, young Robbie from Lily White Lane, anytime Eric Dier kicked the ball, he used to go say to Robbie, just go check your window there, see if you see that going by. You know what I mean? Because honestly, the guy is a clown. The guy is a clown, right? He gives it all this hard nut. He has his hair cut to make himself look like a hard nut, a head shave. And look at me. I think I look like your man Wentworth Miller out of Prison Break. That's who he thinks he looks like, right? Shave my head. I'm a big hard man. For a big lad like him, he's awfully lightweight. Getting out jumped by an Oompa Loompa 5'5" from Fulham, right? Out jumped, 5'5", out jumping. Moon Boots, who's like 6'2" and built like a brick house, right? Out jumping him, right? Then the game recently, I think it was Leeds, 3 goals, all 3 goals he played a part in, right? One of them unforgivable, right? He leaves Patrick, I think it was Patrick Bamford, leaves him, right?
Statue.
To go up in the 6-yard area, cover it, right? Okay. Well and good. He sensed where the ball was coming in. But then he stood there like someone in the meantime has come in and pour concrete around his feet, and he's just stuck there, right? Instead of being proactive, running towards the ball and putting his foot through it and clearing it, right? That's the time when I would actually call him Moon Boots in a good way, because he's getting across, he's clearing the ball, putting it into the stands, is what everyone says, put the ball into the stands. But honestly, the guy, he's just such an airhead. He's an airhead. And what winds me up more, then you see him doing all this pointing and you're looking at him. You're like, you caused us that goal. Man up, take it on the chest, and just put your hand up and do better. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Toby does need to be big cares around. Big up at him, Philip. That's fantastic. 100% he does. Honestly, the guy is just such... he should have, this is the problem. Another player like Serge Aurier should go and try out for a rugby team. Because honestly, he'd be better at rugby. He moves like a rugby player. He's not an athlete whatsoever. And then I haven't even got started. on the press on some of the stuff, right? So So he made them comments, right, about, wanting his ashes scattered. The guy wouldn't even scatter a pass, right? He wouldn't even scatter a pass. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, you've been shit all season. Just don't talk to the press. Then I see that, and I feel disrespected. I feel disrespected because there's so many lifelong fans or other players that deserve to have their ashes scattered on the stadium. The fact that he thought he could, straight away there's alarm bells ringing in my head. I'm like, whoa. This guy is delusional. He's delusional. He's not all there. Maybe I could be wrong. Let's give him a chance. Right? We go out and lose before Leeds comes out. Yeah, I've had a good season. He had a good game against Sheffield United. May I add? A couple of times he actually tried his best to help them score, but we won't get into that, right? Then he comes out before the Leeds game, I think it was, when top four was still kind of there, right? And you're thinking, he comes out and he says, the criticism on performances have been harsh. I actually think I've played well this season. Straight away, I was like, no, I gave him a chance. Just in case I was wrong. No, I'm 100% right. The guy is 1,000% deluded, right? But then proceeds to, we're going to give it all for Leeds. We're going to get the job done. Okay, grand. So go out and give me a performance. He gives away 3 goals. But not only does he give away 3 goals, he thinks it's a great idea to come back out in the press, right, when top 4 is finished and go, but you know what, guys? We are going to give it our all for the next 3 games for you, the fans. We're going to give it our all for the next 3 games, right? What happens? What happens against Aston Villa?
Dickhead.
What happens?
Dickhead.
Right, and this is what I can't get my head around, right? When I saw that press conference, I'm sitting there thinking, what about giving your all against Zagreb? What about giving it your all against Arsenal and North London Derby? What about giving it your all, in games that haven't mattered this season, aka Leeds, when Europe was hanging by a thread? What about giving it your all then? Why are you coming out saying you're going to give it your all now when there's no pressure on the last 3 games? Because at that point, Spurs fans are just giving up. You couldn't have given a shit if you got Europa Conference League, right? Why not give it your all before it matters? And again, when that happens, alarm bells are ringing. This whole thing that we've talked about mentality before, it's rife in the camp. It's rife in the camp. Because these guys can come out and perform when there's no pressure. When there's pressure, Moon Boots is at the forefront. He's just brain dead. Honestly, get the guy out of my club. But sorry, we'll take the super chat, then we'll let Marcelo in.
We'll take the super chat from Jordan Stevens. Big up, Jordan Stevens. It's good to see you here in the chat. He says, sometimes switches off. I think he's saying to what I was referencing to his stats. I think I said sometimes. You're absolutely right, Jordan. I love that you called me out on that. He says, the guy has never been switched on. He belongs to an elite special club and prefers growing fruit and veg on his special patch. I mean, yeah, I think he would be an excellent botanist, Eric Dyer, because, he loves to put himself deep in the weeds, deep in the dirt. Maybe like Sanchez, Sanchez loves falling on the floor, putting his face in the floor. Maybe they could both be, expert gardeners, expert botanists later in the future. I think you're actually exactly right, Jordan. And sorry for saying sometimes. I meant always. You're exactly right.
Oh, man.
I can't believe I said sometimes. Thank you, Jordan.
Big up, Jordan. I really do appreciate the super chat, my man, 100%. I'm awarding you super chat of the day. Anyone that wants to take that title off him, you know what you have to do. Come in with a better super chat or something that's going to give me a right giggle, or a fantastic point or a fantastic stat. Big up, Jordan. Appreciate it.
And Dark Sun G, big up Dark Sun G. He says, if we throw his ashes on the field, wouldn't our field be cursed? I mean, it definitely would be. I think we would have to, I don't even know, does he even have? I don't even know how that's going to be handled. I mean, he can't be serious. He can't be serious. There's no way that it could even be a conversation. But Marcelo,
he's serious. 100%.
So everybody got their
give this
point.
Man a number? Does this man even deserve a number for a
rating? For me, quickly, player rating 0. Actually, no, -10, like Aurier. Honestly, get the guy out of my club. Delusions of grandeur, never ever good enough to be here. Only ever been a backup. So from my point of view, we've tried him at right back, centre midfield. None of the positions worked out. Get him gone. End of. -10.
Yep. No, no. Look, everybody got their points across because I'm gonna go on a rant here for about a good minute, and there's gonna be no stopping me. You know, you're gonna have to kick me out of the show if you want to stop this rant because absolutely Dier, you're absolutely diabolical. That should be your new name, diabolical. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. This guy is shit. This guy is he is literally a bag of lump of shit. He can't jump. His boots are stuck on the ground. It looks like he's running on quicksand. He's just awful. You know what I mean? Like honestly, and you know, this guy every time he makes a mistake, he always looks around. He always looks at people, you know, like he's fucking Maldini when he's absolute donkey, idiot, clown. You know, always letting these, you know, can't even out jump a fucking Oompa Loompa midget, bro. You know what I mean? Like you getting out jumped by a guy half your size. Man looks like a Viking and got, you know, wedged a little bit in the Liverpool game and falls like a lump of shit, bro. Honestly, remember that in the Liverpool game, he gets touched in the back and he just falls down. What an absolute dickhead! He is an absolute dickhead.
And he was keeping people on side in the Liverpool game as well.
He is what's wrong with this team. Honestly, every time we have a line, like you said, David, he always never keeps up with the line. He is so slow. Honestly, a fucking statue could turn Dier over. A fucking statue. You know, like this guy just like every time he moves, it's like in slow motion. You know, and then the lapse of concentration. Honestly, this guy, you know, Jordan Stevens, you said it best, bro. You know, this guy sometimes switched off, bro. Sometimes switch off. Bro, this guy is always switched off, bro. He's like thinking about whether he TiVoed this fucking TV show, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Coronation Street. Oh shit,
like,
man,
like he is my least favorite player I've ever seen at Spurs. Honestly, he's really my least favorite player I've ever seen at Spurs, other than So Campbell. Honestly, like he is like he just annoys the shit out of me. You know, not only is he a shit player, but then he comes out with these comments. You know, spread my ashes in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You know, like honestly, what a dickhead! How dare you say that? You know, like what have you done? Like you got Ledley King looking at this prick. You know, like just thinking like what an absolute like moron. You know what I mean? Like how can you think that you deserve to have your ashes spread at our great ground? You know, what a dickhead. You know, like go fucking quit your fucking job. Go plant fucking trees. Go plant vegetables. Go do something else, you know. And then when you die, spread your ashes there and fucking, you know, fertilize the plants and actually do something. You know what I mean? It'll be more than you've ever done in the whole fucking pitch. That vegetable garden is the highlight of your fucking season. Absolutely diabolical. Eric Dier, more like Eric shit, bro. This man can't do fucking nothing right. He always looks at other.
Like, back,
like honestly, I'm trying to because I don't want you to get demonetized because honestly, like, dude, man, this guy is absolute fucking clown. Every time I see him, you know, I just see like a clown nose, a clown hat, and then he has the audacity to, you know, go up in the pitch and attack one of our fans because we call them cunts because he is. No, I'm sorry, I forgot because he called him a wanker because he is a wanker. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like he went up in the fucking stands and, you know, he was running up there, bro. I fucking hate that. Can't stand him. Clown.
Yeah, actually, that's another thing that really annoyed me, right? Yeah, okay, you know, they're shouting a bit of abuse at Dier. But the thing is, right,
abuse.
If he actually performed, right, that wouldn't have happened and he wouldn't have had to run up in the stands. Oh, my family heard it. I couldn't give a shit. You know, in fact, actually, do your family a favor and tell them not to come to the game if you're going to perform like that. Because expect these thousands of fans who work week in, week out, put an extra time of work to be able to afford their ticket to go to the game, to be pissed off if you put in a bad performance. So in fact, it's your fault that your family were there because you put in a bad performance. Don't put in a bad performance, right? That wouldn't happen. But what do we do at Tottenham? We cry about it. Honestly, we're the best criers in the league. We would get the trophy year in, year out from morning. We really would, right? You know, with our players. Just like, when is it going to click with these players? This wouldn't happen if they performed. You know? Simple. It's simple logic. You know, do what you're paid to do. Even if you're shit and you give me 110%, I will work with you. I will actually try and find things to, you know, praise you. What I can't accept is him crying about it when he puts in performances the way he does. You know, is he delusional to think that's not going to happen? Honestly, get him out my club. But we'll take the super chat here from Aglaya.
Please get him the fuck out. Please. I can't see Eric Dier. Like, Roma, please. Jose, do us one last favor. Just do us one last favor for Spurs and just fucking get Eric Dier out of this team. Do whatever you can. I'll love you forever. We'll build you a statue.
Build him a statue after he leaves, just for leaving. If he organizes his own deal to leave, maybe we'll build him a statue. But Aglia Kakaradas here, she says, "Sell Dier to Arsenal already. That's the team who'll suit his level." What a big prick, thinking he's played well. Truly delusional. I mean, there really has to be some type of switch, some type of wire that's a little loose in there. Because believe me, I mean, looking at those stats we were just saying, like the fact that at any point he said he's played well, or people are a little harsh on him. I mean, he's literally ranking in the 5th percentile of like any basic defending stat. I mean, the man is literally the worst center back defending wise in the league. So, I mean, I don't even know what type of mercy he should be shown, but practically none at all.
No, but the thing is with the guy, it's going to be painful because I can't see anyone wanting to come in from because of how bad he is. So
maybe Roma's that delusional.
I'll probably have to stick around, but sorry, we'll go ahead with Dark Sun G.
Cancel the contract, please.
I'll pay for it. Dark Sun G says, "Remember how he fought a fan and got banned?" I mean, I mean, like David said, I mean, if he really is going to play that bad, if he really is just going to continue to just praise himself on camera and then expect no retaliation from the fans, I mean, he is quite delusional. You're absolutely right, Dark Sun G. And yet again, another one from Dark Sun G. He says, "From that game led to this terrible season. Oh my God, his ego." Yeah. I mean, that's actually what's ridiculous is his ego. He might have one of the biggest egos on the team, despite, and we almost don't say that. We often associate that with Delhi or other players, but like his ego is actually untested, unchecked almost in plenty of moments. But yeah, I'll shut up. I mean, I can't. Yeah,
when he gave away that penalty against Chelsea, Dark Sun G, why did you have to remind me of that? Oh, what an absolute prick. What like the most unneeded tackle you could do in the box, and this guy just does it.
He kicked Timo like it was his little brother or something, like running away from him or like something like that. Like he got mad, like they were, horse playing in the box, and then Timo runs away from him and he just kicks at his legs. It was atrocious.
The man thought that he was in fucking Tekken, bro. You know what I mean? He was doing those little low kicks. What?
Just quickly. First of all, Dark Zone G21. Honestly, I love it, but it's thanks for reminding me of that because it's just another reason why I hate Eric Dier. Look, to be honest with you, a lot of our players and people that we love usually get good chance. Anyone ever listen to Eric Dier's chants? Honestly, it's shocking. It's made up to try and support the guy. It's shocking. It's an absolute what is it? We love Eric Dyer loves me, or I love Eric Dyer loves me. It's absolutely stupid. He doesn't even have a good chance. Just get him gone. Big up Dark Sun G21. Just quickly, Jordan Stevens, sorry to change the subject, but apparently PSG have extended Poch's contract. Now back to a player range. Yeah. No, I've just seen that, my man. I've just seen it. Yeah, apparently Pochettino's extended PSG's contract. So, look, it probably was like what I was saying. The season tickets renewal date is coming up. A lot of fans thought, oh, yeah, we'll renew it now. Poch is coming back. Now it's coming out. Poch isn't coming back. And now Kane transfer probably following about 2 weeks. But Levy already has the money. You don't
think the rumors
it's sad. It's upsetting. Huh?
You don't think the rumors from Matt Hayes were true? I saw a video from Matt Hayes today, and everybody go check it out. I think he was saying that Pochettino has requested to leave. But maybe
he just put out a new video there now saying that PSG extended I'm not sure whether it's PSG triggered the contract extension or whether Pochettino signed the contract extension. Yeah. If PSG triggered the contract extension, if Poch really wants, he can come back. But I heard that, someone was talking to a French journalist. Apparently they're not talking about it over there at all. Apparently it's only the media over here blowing it up. So we'll wait and see how true that is. We'll wait and see how true that is.
But we got another super chat from Aglaya Kakaradas again. Thank you, Aglaya or Aglaya. Big up for these super chats. Very generous of you.
Yeah.
She says, "I'd love to be the funeral parlor who scatters Dyer's ashes. I would go down to my local sewer." I mean, that's what I've always been thinking about is like, how would we convince Dyer, we're going to put him in the field, but then we just scatter him, I don't know, maybe scatter him at the Emirates. Maybe we'll just say we got it mixed up with someone else's ashes or something like that. But I agree with you, Clay. I mean, we're gonna have to figure out a way to trick him somehow, because there's no, like Marcelo said, the field would be cursed, and there's just no way that his ashes should be anywhere near our turf.
Yeah, Glea, look, we're cursed enough as a club without having more curses spread across our pitch. So big up Glea Kakaras. Thank you so much for the super chats. And look, I'm going to award you a super chat of the day now. So you're now the holder of super chat of the day. Everyone, you want to take an offer? You know what to do. But big up Glea Kakaras. Look, we'll start moving on with the player ratings, because we're already an hour and a half in and we're barely through half of them. So.
Well, that's just what happens when you had this much of a tumultuous season, I'll tell you that, because now we're going on to maybe a bit of a brighter side. We're going to Toby Alderweireld. I would say our best defender this season. But then again, when you dive into the stats here, hasn't been that remarkable of a season if you compare him to the rest of the center backs in the Premier League. He's played 25 matches this season. He did have a goal. He played 3 matches in the Europa League. So he kind of has been just spared to a degree in kind of both the Premier League and the Europa League. But he does have enough minutes under his belt in the Premier League for his stats to be fairly accurate. He's had a pretty interesting season, I would say, in passing from the back. He absolutely favors, and I'll get my laser pointer here, he absolutely favors the long pass here, and he doesn't really do it with the greatest of accuracy, but it kind of explains, like, from the seeing eye test you would see this year, is that Toby has felt kind of desperate in certain moments to just launch the ball forward to see if
he has no one to pass it to.
Yeah, he has no one to pass it to, and I think that sometimes I made a video about, maybe his passing is not what he used to be, but exactly what Marcelo was saying is I think he's actually just desperate just to get it up the pitch to see if something can happen, to see if we get a lucky knockdown, just because he doesn't see anything going forward and he doesn't see the play developing well, and so he's just almost desperate, just launching it forward. And so that probably even explains actually why his key passes are actually decently high, just because he does actually sometimes play some of those kind of like lucky long balls that get a nice knockdown and it leads to a good chance. Defensive wise, hasn't been that great, but then again, we were just, if you went back to Eric Dier from earlier, I mean, look at that right here. And then you go to Toby. It's at least a little bit better to some degree. He's at least
you have to put it into context. He has Dier, he has Aurier.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Reguilón started having bad stints, he doesn't
babysitting.
He's had to cover, and a lot of the games that we won is because he was able to cover for both Aurier and Eric Dier, which is something I was saying the whole entire time when we're top of the league. I was saying he was covering for Eric Dier and Aurier. These guys are not good footballers, and people ignored it, and I kept saying, and then soon enough, guess what happened? Toby couldn't handle the pressure of holding too many chores, and we broke apart and we're broken open.
Yeah, I think, Marcelo, you're actually really helping me out here. You're exactly right. He's been an absolute babysitter to most of the defense this season. That probably explains why even some of his stats aren't as good as we would like them to be. And I think that's just because, similar to Højbjerg, what he does in the midfield, he's just making up, playing 2 positions at once, playing 2 different roles, or just playing, making up for everybody else's deficiencies. And then one last stat I'll mention here is these are shots saved and shots blocked. So these are, like I said, or blocks. These are these moments when he makes the sliding tackles to save us from a shot on goal, or to save us from a chance going past Lloris. And so if he's in the 91st percentile here, in the 82nd percentile, that really explains, right, like those moments when Toby has saved us in games with a very crucial block or sliding tackle.
Just quickly, Jack, them 3 stats explain A, the experience and his reading of the game, how exceptional it is to put himself in them positions.
Yep.
B, how much he's actually had to cover for these awful defenders, like Marcelo was saying, right? So he's having to drop back deeper, and that's why he's getting in the blocks and everything as he is. And C, just how bad we would be without him. So 3 things them stats say. But I do have something else to say on this when we're done here.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for helping me out on this, because it's exactly right. It's just, he is the one guy that is the veteran. He sees a dangerous chance before it occurs, and he's able to put himself in the way, which you can't say for any of the rest of our defenders at all. I mean, don't even question. It's just, he's the only guy that can actually see the game ahead and can actually make a block before it's too late. And then the last thing that's kind of interesting is maybe just because of his age, And maybe because of his height, he's lost some of that athletic ability. He's definitely actually kind of fallen quite low in terms of the aerial win percentage. He's definitely not as dominant in the air this season. And that probably explains how we haven't had that many goals from corners this year from our center backs. So that's the last thing I'll finish on. But, he's been our best defender. He's had to make up for just literally some of the worst defenders in the league on his team. And so, if you really average out the whole season, even some of our worst performances, I would just still give him a 6.
Yeah, I'll go actually higher. I'll give him a 7.
Interesting, yeah.
I'll give him a 7 because I think, and I always said it, we need to play Toby. I've been saying it all along. Toby needs to play because he's the only one that can. When you notice, for example, the Wolves game when we didn't play Toby, Wolves were able to press us all game. Wolves, you know what I mean? Without Raul Jimenez, that was
Wolves
Wolves.
don't press.
And Wolves don't press, and they were able to so easily press us. When you watch when we played with Toby against Wolves, Wolves hardly pressed us. Our passing from the back was much better. We were able to get the ball much better in the midfield. Toby is the only guy that can link the defense to the midfield or to the attack. He's the only guy in the back, other than Reguilón. He's the only other guy. So I think he's had too many duties. I think he's had too many, awful players around him. And he's had his bad games. He's had his bad games.
Look, let's be honest, he's been the only defender.
But he's been the only defender. He's been having to carry a shit defense for a whole season. The guy's, 33. He shouldn't be the one. I would still keep Toby. I would sell Sanchez, Dier, Davies, all these other defenders any day before I sell Toby. I still think he is a good defender. I still think he has his use at Tottenham. And I think he's had a pretty good season. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. And everybody else, give us your Toby ratings in the chat. I gave him a 6 on the PowerPoint. I think Marcel made a very good case for how he's making up for the deficiencies of everyone else. He gave him a 7. Give us your player ratings in the chat. David, what do you think? What do you think of Toby's season?
Just quickly, we'll take Darkson G21's comment there. He says, the one thing I hate was us using moon boots and Sanchez. Yeah, that was calamitous, man. That was absolutely calamitous. But at the time we were using that partnership, Toby was going through a poor patch, so it was kind of like just rotating in, rotating out. But look, with Toby, for me, I've always loved Toby. I think he's been a great defender, right? But when we had Toby and Vertonghen as a great partnership, right? We also had 2 good fullbacks, and you need not only a partnership with a centre back, but 2 good fullbacks, and that's what helps you out, and that's what makes you better. Obviously, other things shine through, like your reading of the game, being able to bail other players out, stuff like that. That's what takes you from, being just a part of that defence to being a leader in that defence. With Toby, it's interesting because Pochettino actually wanted to sell Toby. And Toby wasn't going to sign a new contract when Pochettino was here. And just while mentioning Pochettino quickly, everyone's kind of asking where does this, with PSG. So it's been confirmed. PSG have triggered a year extension in Pochettino's contract. Pochettino hasn't signed a contract extension. And people are asking where this leaves the deal. Where this leaves the deal is Pochettino can either resign tomorrow, right, and just that's it. He can go to Tottenham. He's free to speak to whoever he wants. Or Daniel Levy can try and buy him from PSG, offer money. You know what I mean? Basically, buy out the contract or whatever it is. So they're the 2 options that are left right now for Pochettino. For anyone wondering right now, they're the 2 options that are left. So I'll just make that clear. He can either resign or Tottenham can buy out his contract and get him to come to Spurs. So they're the 2 options. To be honest with you, as well, just quickly, PSG look like they are playing a bit of hardball. So I don't think it's anywhere near a foregone conclusion right now. The thing is, PSG, Tottenham can come in and say, look, we give you 10 million, buy out his contract. PSG still have the option of saying no, And I think that will be the case. I think they're going to try and hang on to him. So I think it could boil down to Pochettino having to resign if he truly desires to come back to Tottenham. But back to Toby. One thing I'm so grateful for Toby being here this season is not only the stats that Jack brought up about him, his blocks, being in the right positions to be able to make them blocks, which means he's reading the game. He's reading it, very intelligent. to put yourself in them positions, to know where the shot's coming in, to be able to drop back and defend your goal and reading the game. It's insane. So fair play to the guy. The most thing I'm grateful for is his passing ability. Now, we cannot afford, right, although Toby's getting a bit older, right? I think he's, 33 now. Mm-hmm. So although he's getting on, right, his passing ability is insane. He can play a ball from centre-back over onto Son's foot. He can play a ball from centre-back straight over the fence for Harry Kane to run onto, and it'll land at his foot. We need someone like Toby Alderweireld at the back, a passer, because with the squad we have right now, teams press us. We don't have great technical players, and even when we do, they don't have the mentality. They're flapping and like you're taking 2 or 3 times to get the ball under control because they don't have the composure. With Toby, he beats that press every time. You can come and press us, but then you're exposing yourself at the back. What happens? You send either Son, Lucas, or Kane in behind. Toby will find you. So it's very important if we do get rid of Toby, we have to replace him with a defender that can pass the ball at the back. Because if not, teams are just going to press the living crap out of us, and next season will be 10 times worse. I'm so thankful for his experience this season that he's brought in to be able to get back. If he didn't make all them blocks and everything else that Jack has shown us, imagine how bad the season would have been.
Been worse.
Imagine how bad it would have been. It would have been 10 times worse. So big up Toby. I think he's been our shining light at the back, to be honest, this season. I really do. I can't think of too many mistakes he has made. He did have a bit of a poor patch, But
every player has a poor patch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every player has a poor patch. And for me, with Toby Alderweireld, look, I would actually give him an 8, just purely because of how bad the defence has been and thinking, without some of them blocks and everything else, how bad it would have been. So I'm actually going to give him an 8 because, look, he's leading the ship with a hole in it. It's sinking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? All he's trying to do is plug it, but there's only so many times you can plug it. So for me, I'd give him an 8. I think he's been our best defender this season.
I think that's fair. And also, like you guys are saying, like when he has to deal with the rest of this bottle jobs of defenders, I mean, I don't even know how mentally wearing that is, but I bet it is. I bet it just makes you not want to show up to work even sometimes, despite how much he's being paid. That must be really tough because when you're that much better than your partners, I mean, it's tough. I think Marcelo went with a 7. I'm going to go with a 7 as well. I'm going to agree with Marcelo there. And I think David, rightfully so, also went with an 8. I think that's fair to him. I think we do.
Everybody's upgrading. Look,
everyone's giving the upgrades.
Xavi 6 is upgrading. We've done a good job there.
I think we can move on then to the next one here. This one, it is going to be, the one that some people seem to always have an apology for. Some people that, just seem to have a hard on for this guy. It is the Ben Davies of the world. Ben Davies. It's.
Tell me why, Colin. Tell me why.
Ben Davies, I'm going to try to find, I can't wait for the Davies apologists. I don't know where they are. Sometimes they come out.
Alex is here. He's here
Alex
somewhere.
Is here. Alex, I'd love for you to take a look at this. Like Eric Dyer, we really truly have some players that are defenders that are just the worst defenders. And if you can tell, I did a lot of yellow highlighting right here. And that's because there is a lot of red. And this red is just all the defending ranks of any type of defending stat you can find. And this guy barely ranks above the 30th percentile of mostly anything. He's pretty much the worst defender. He doesn't know how to pressure the ball. He's practically just anonymous when it comes to anything that is defending. I don't even need to explain these. There's so much red that it's just obvious. You guys get the deal. His long passing is pretty awful. His passing in general is pretty awful. If you just look at how many passes he even attempts a game, it's just still it's in the 33rd percentile. The man doesn't want the ball, and he doesn't want to give up the ball when he receives it either. He just doesn't know what to do with it. It's pretty. I wrote this right here. I mean, Ben Davies, he's such an awful defender in the fullback position that even during that time and that long run of really awful performances from Sergio Reguilón, I think the only reason Reguilón kept getting picked is just simply because Ben Davies is that bad. That, no matter how bad Sergio Reguilón is playing, probably even Sergio Reguilón himself probably asked the manager, boss, I'm not playing so well. I might need a break. Let me see someone else step up for me. And I think the boss probably just told him, look, I can't be putting Ben Davies in there anymore. No matter even your worst performances are still going to be better than Ben Davies. And, that's why I'm going to give him a 4. If not, after what I hear from you guys, I mean, I think a 4 is going to be way too generous for him. But like I said, any Davies apologist, just look at that red for defending. That's what they credit him for, is being a good defender. They always say, yeah, he's not the best going forward, but, he's a good defender. He's just absolutely atrocious, and that's where I'll end.
I mean, honestly, I'll take that David is gonna wait to be last on this one, since he's deafened himself. So I mean, in my opinion, Ben Davies, he gets a 1 for me. He only gets, the only reason he gets a 1 is because he tries. God forbid he Mr. 33, Mr. Anonymous, he's shit, but at least he tries. So I give him a 1. But oh my God, this guy should not be a footballer. This guy legitimately should not be a footballer. I honestly, I thought it couldn't get worse. Then I watched him against Politiv, and he was getting spun against, like factory workers, like Greek yogurt factory workers. And I'm not joking, Jack. This is not a joke. Those guys at Politiv, legit, after they go home, they go and work in their factories and they kiss their wives. Like, honestly, like the factory workers. He got spun by a factory worker, lad. And, he gets spun by everybody. Seamus Coleman, Trossard. The guy gets spun so many times. He might as well just join Dead and Alive, bro. You think he's in the Dead and Alive crew.
Own a laundry clinic.
Me
Own a
right
laundry
around,
machine.
baby, right around.
Round like a record, baby.
Right around. The man. Like, honestly, the guy should just join Dead and Alive, bro. Like, he's not a footballer. He is not a footballer. This guy is a joke. Absolutely. Every time he plays, David and I always gives him a second chance, and he always performs like exactly like David and I expect. Every time.
Yeah.
Look, actually, we'll get to the 2 super chats first, and then I'll have a bit to say.
Yeah, Dark Sun G, big up Dark Sun G, yet again another super chat. Big yourself up. I hope you're saving a little bit though for that Ben and Jerry's tonight, because you earn it for all them stats and all these super chats that you're sending in. Mr. 33 gets spun against West Brom. We need Chilwell. I mean, I was thinking this when Marcelo was saying how much he gets spun. He really is a living, walking washing machine. He just gets turned around and around on high spin cycle. He knows he should own his own laundry clinic, his own laundry service.
Big up Dark Sun G for the super chat, man. What a legend. I'm absolutely loving the banter, boy. Fair play to you.
And then Aglaya here with a very, very generous super chat. Big yourself up, Aglaya. Thank you very much for supporting David here. Aglaya says, PSG can do, Poch is ours. PSG can do what PSG can do. Poch is ours. He belongs at Spurs. Guys, I feel we will win trophies with him at the helm. I love the way he made us play, and he deserves another chance. What are your thoughts, guys? I mean, it would be that for me, it's the Messiah coming home. A lot of people like to troll me for saying that, because he hasn't won anything. But for me, it really is the Messiah. I think he's had unfinished work here. I think the job isn't done for him. I think he deserves to finish the work that he was building at Spurs. I do believe he is our Jesus. He is our Messiah.
Look, the guy told us exactly what was going on. He told us we needed a massive rebuild. He said it was going to be a painful rebuild. He knew it was coming. Daniel Levy, after letting it get out there in the press and all that, you were trying to get Poch, because, look, obviously it's a leak from the club where it comes from. You know what I mean? There's no smoke without fire. And for me, Daniel Levy, honestly, I've said this before. I said this on the stream we done the other night, Jack, that he's playing with fire. He's playing with fire. I've said if he gets Pochettino in, he'll completely quash out the in-account movement. 100% he will. If he doesn't get Poch in, and we've seen it, we've had comments, Jack, people are saying if Poch doesn't come, now they'll understand and they will be in-account. So he's playing with fire. He's at a point now where he has to do everything he can to get this man back, because it's been put out there in the press. You know what I mean? Like I said, obviously a source from inside the club somewhere has leaked it. So, look, is it a PR stunt to get people to renew the season tickets? Very well could be. I said that also on Wednesday, Jack. It could be a PR stunt to get people, because the renewal date is coming to a close. So it could very well. But honestly, he's gambling with fire, this man. He's gambling with his position at the club. He really is. If Pochettino falls through, think Twitter and all is a bad place. Oh, it's going to be 10 times worse if it doesn't happen. Aglaya, Glade Kakaratis, I want to say thank you so much for the generous super chat. I really do appreciate it. You're an absolute champ. You're always in my comments, Matty's comments, and all the other Tottenham content creator comments. I don't know how you have time. You must never sleep. But Aglaya, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really do appreciate it. You're a gem. And anyone else that wants to get to me, feel free. Marcelo, do you want to have a say on Poch?
No, look, you said it all. He has unfinished business. It is what it is. If he comes back, listen. If he comes back, I would love it. I love Poch. So he's one of my favorite managers at Spurs. I love what he brought to Spurs. But honestly, I just want a top manager. Whether it's Poch, Conte, or Ten Hag. Okay, with all three choices. All I care about this summer is we back the manager, give him what he wants. Not what Levy wants, what he wants. Poch asks for a center back, give him a center back. If Conte asks for a DM, get a DM. If he asks for a fucking a backup striker, just get him the fucking backup striker. Just please, just give him what the manager wants. That's all I care about.
No, 100%. Thank you, Aglaya, so much for the super chats. Guys, we're nearly 2 hours in. We haven't even completed the defense, so I'm going to give you an option. If you want to, we can sit here and get through as many as we can, or we can end it at the defense and save midfield and attackers for another day. The option's you.
If you really want us to dig into the Winkses and the Sissokos of the world, if you really want us to, go after the Lamellas, we might have to save some of our juices, save some of our energy.
Because I'm getting tired.
And I think Marcelo. I don't think you don't want Marcelo at 75% when he's attacking Harry Stinks or the rest of the team. Mm-hmm. And so I think what we can do, if the chat's all right with that, I think we're going to finish with some of these defenders, and then we're going to call it a night. And then we're going to come back with finish up the player ratings. And we're going to have the best of the rants coming soon for the rest of the players. But I think if that's all right with the chat, we can finish with some of the defenders at Spurs. Because,
look,
makes sense. The defending's been that bad. The defending's been that bad this season. It makes sense. We spent so long on it. They've been the worst, players practically in our team. Yeah. So it does make sense that we spent this much time on it. And also thank you everybody for all the super chats, all the support. It's been an absolute cracker, I think, of a video. Everybody's made me crack up, and honestly, I love my player ratings getting absolutely destroyed in certain moments, because even the chat sometimes has destroyed them as well, and I'm absolutely loving it. But 100%. We can move on.
Just quickly.
Sorry.
So what we will do is we'll finish on the defense, but I know Matt Hayes put in a comment there. I'm not sure if you're still tuning in. But Matt, if you are still tuning in and you want, as soon as we finish these defenders, Matt, I'll keep going for another half an hour if anyone wants. And you could come on and tell everybody, what you know about the Poch situation and everything else, and then plug your video as well, and we'll sit there for half an hour speaking about that situation. So Matt Hayes, if you're watching, feel free, my man, feel free, and we'll get you on so you can tell us what's going on. And what I might actually do is, if you want to give up the next, I have to have a quick say on Davies. What I'll do is I'll have a quick say on Davies, and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to text Matt, and then I'll come back on. So with Ben Davies, look, honestly, I've said this before, you may as well be sitting in the crowd with a Where's Wally book. You'd find Wally quicker. Anytime the ball comes down his side, we've seen it time and time again. He's tucked in behind Dier. You're like, where's Ben Davies? And he pops out from behind Eric Dier, right? And not only that, he comes charging out, right? And then he just gets skinned. It doesn't even matter if he sits in. They still go on the inside of him and skin him every single time. Every single time. The amount of times I've seen teams just target when he's playing going down that left side. And the stats don't lie. I've seen a shitload of red there. Red is alarming. Very alarming. Everyone that tells me, look, this guy's a good backup player, he gives 7 out of 10. The guy gets a fucking nosebleed when he goes past halfway line. He offers nothing going forward, and it's at the stage now where he offers nothing defensively. So my opinion is, this guy, honestly, he's been here too long. He's a holder on, and he has to go. That's it. It's as simple as that. The guy has to go. Ben Davies, for me, I'm going to give him a 2. And the reason why I'm going to give him a 2, and this is going to make all these Davies apologies happy, is for his goal against Stoke. Remember that goal? And people were coming back to me, oh, you must have egg on your face now. I'm like, you just watch. Cease's a target.
I don't give him. You see, the thing is, I don't give him that much credit against Stoke, because he scored a goal and then he immediately was at fault for conceding the goal again.
No, I'm just went 1-1. Probably just happy, Marcelo, because the thing is, these guys were there because, and the reason why, let me put context, let me tell you why this happened, right, is because with Ben Davies, me and Marcelo copped onto this way earlier in the group stage. We were sitting there from the group stage of Europa League onwards, right? Sitting there from the group stage of Europa League onwards, and we could see it coming with Winks. We could see it coming with Davies. We're like, these guys are supposed to be Premier League players. They're playing against block layers during the day, electricians during the day. Half of these guys are probably putting in their skybox in the hotel. You know what I mean? That they're staying in, right? And they're getting spun and they're getting dominated. Winks and Davies. So me and Marcelo seeing the warning signs coming. We're like, well, these are part-time players. They're working during the day. They're turning up at the stadium in the evening. And they're getting the better Davies and Winks. This is alarming. But no. The fans wanted to persist. They're good players. They're good players. They're good players. They can do this. They can do that.
Give them a testimonial.
The more me and Marcelo argued with them and brought up stats and, all the other things that they can't do, people were finding it harder and harder and harder to the point where, we're at this excuse now where he's a good backup. Well, one thing I want to thank Jack for, not only coming on the show today, but expose him. He's not a good backup. He's not a good backup. So, Jack, you've been a blessing in disguise for us today, for this frenemies, for exposing that he's not a good backup. So thank you so much. But we've seen it coming. The guy's not good. He gets spun way too easy. He gets spun inside, outside. And my theory is the reason why he tucks in so close to the centre-backs is because that's exactly what he's afraid of. So every manager knows when you're on Ben Davies' side, just stay out wide.
Just stay out wide, yeah.
He won't come out to you because he doesn't want to get.
Run at him.
What he doesn't want is you knocking the ball by him. That's what he doesn't want.
The thing is, David, it's not like even players dribble him. You look at players, you're like, whoa, that was a class dribble. You know what I mean? Oh, that was class. You know what I mean? Dribble past Ben Davies, that was class. They just run at him. They just literally walk up to him and just run past them, and he just allows them. He just gets spun. I've never seen
Ben. Little pat on the head. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. He's just like, I've never seen a slower and gutless defender as Ben Davies. And, half of the time, all he does is he stick out one foot, right? And then just let the player go past him. He's like, well, I stuck up a foot. That's good enough. That's it.
That's just, it really is atrocious how much he actually is afraid to pressure a player. And like you said, all you have to do is just sit outside on the wing, and then once you receive the ball, just start dribbling right at him, and he will just sit there and he'll start doing the Sanchez knee buckle. We'll start doing the Sanchez knee buckle. But we got a super chat in here from Karen McDonald. He says, big up David and Marcelo and Jack, and give it to these bums. I mean, Marcelo has absolutely destroyed some of these guys. I mean, believe me, that was hilarious with whatever. I think it was Serge Aurier's rating. If anybody missed that, you should absolutely go back. Marcelo was, reading all the stats, enjoying all the stats, and then he saw my rating for Serge and just absolutely blew up, and I loved it because he brought me back to reality. So it's been wonderful to do these. And also I think everybody is given most of their Ben Davies ratings, but if you haven't already, please send them in the chat. I'd be happy to know them. I love to see some zeros, some ones, some twos, some negatives, whatever it may be. And also Davies apologists, please, put in your sevens, put in your eights. I'd be happy to see them, and so would Marcelo. But I know David is trying to get Matt Hayes onto the channel to give us that Poch update, because we're all kind of shaking in our boots right now listening to these news. But we are going to move on to Sergio Reguilón. Sergio Reguilón, this is what the thing is, to all the Davies apologists who think that sometimes Davies should have played over him or whatever. I mean, This is exactly where they're just completely wrong. I mean, I'm going to look at the defense here. Obviously, Sergio Reguilón, not the greatest defender, right? He's not the best in the league in any regard, and some of these defending stats up here. But let's just go back to our one and only Ben Davies. He's not good. He's not better than him in a single regard of any defending stat. I mean, even look at this part, right? So we were saying how he doesn't want to pressure the ball. He's 16th percentile in pressures, and then successful pressures, he ranks in the 8th percentile. And then he doesn't even pressure the ball in his own half, in his own defensive third. I mean, look at Reggie. That just shows the difference between an aggressive defender, a person, even if he's not the best defender, he at least wants to put on pressure, make you think that he's a good defender. Look at Ben Davies here, pressures, ranks that low. Look at Reggie here.
Yeah, in my opinion, though, with Reguilón And people are like, "Oh, if that was Ben Davies, you'd be like scolding at him." I'm like, "Yeah, I would be scolding at Ben Davies because he's been here for seven fucking years." You know what I mean? Reguilón just entered the Premier League and he's playing a completely different system. At Seville, he was playing as a wing back, right? Not right.
Almost like the
yeah.
Marcelo role, Marcelo role at Sevilla. Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing a left wing back, and he had a lot less defensive duties because he was used to three, having three center backs at the back. So he used to bomb down the field. Now he had to play under Mourinho and more in the back four where he has to do more defensive duties, and he's had to adapt. And he's also on top of that adapting to a new league in which he is not familiar with. So I'm willing to give Reguilón 2 seasons, 3 seasons before I really start, really, harshly digging his performance. For me next season, obviously I want to see some improvements, but I do want to see improvements, but I can understand why he had a rough time this season. But what I see from Reguilón is he has a drive in him. Well, like, yes, his defending is poor, but for fuck's sakes, at least the lad actually tracks back. You see him trying to track, people, they blame, him for solely for the Ollie Watkins goal. And he was at fault for the Ollie Watkins goal, but you saw him trying to track back and get Ollie Watkins, which is, every defender, he's going to lose the ball. He's going to make a mistake in the passing. He's going to make, a fumble. Right. But what I want to see is that defender trying to track back, and the fact that he tracked back and the fact that nobody helped him, really goes show a lot. So for me, he has the right attitude. He has the right drive. He just needs to work on some of his defending, give him time to adapt to the league, give him time to adapt to the back four. Right. I think attacking wise, he's been brilliant. I think he's even put some really good defensive performances. I just think he just needs to adapt a little bit more.
I think you're right. I think he just needs to adapt more. And then he went through that bad spell of form. And I think he's just absolutely just short of confidence. And I think what also hurt him is like when he went through that bad spell of form, no one else was going through a good spell of form, maybe to help him up or, to maybe accommodate for his bad spell. And so, he just fell with the rest of the players and kind of this,
I think you would fit Conte. Season. I think you would fit Conte's system perfectly. Him or Poch. I just think.
Oh, he would be ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he just doesn't fit the Mourinho system. I think he doesn't fit that back four defensive system. Just doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't. But he does have all the makings of the modern fullback in the aggression, in the getting up and down the pitch. And I think this is right. We'll just end it on this. I mean, this is what's funny is just the pressures, right? When you consider how much more up and down the pitch Reguilón can go. And then you look at Ben Davies, who's just almost like, it's like stepping into like the deep end of the pool or something, like him crossing the halfway line. And, you go back to Davies here, he doesn't pressure the ball in the defensive third, certainly doesn't pressure it in the middle third of the pitch or the halfway line, and then never pressures it in the attacking third. And you look at Reggie, right? Reggie is going up and down the pitch, absolutely flying up and down the pitch, and he's still able to pressure the players so much more. I mean, it's almost then you would want to question like either Ben Davies' resolve or like his fitness or something, because we at least know that Reguilón is in much better shape than him.
Just quickly, Jack, so I can get you up on screen. Did we take the super chat from Kira?
No, yes, we did from Kieran McDonald. We did.
Big up, Kieran. Thank you so much, my man. And just Dark Sun G as well. He says, just in case my super chat disappeared, I wrote Mr. 33 cost us that 1-1 game against Wolves.
I think we spoke about him.
Okay.
We did do that one as well. I think
I just left there to try and ring Matt to see if he wants to come on. Couldn't get hold of him. He must be playing pro clubs or something.
Well, it'd be good to get that news though, just to help us, not be so scared about this current news. But it looks like Matty Hayes is coming on, so we can add him.
Oh, speak to the devil. So, Matty, how are you keeping, man? Just before, I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. Just before we do let Matty in, though, guys, we'll just finish up the player ratings, and then we're going to let Matty break the news.
I gave Sergio a 5.5. I think that's still a little harsh for him. I think a 6 would be nice, but considering that really bad spell of form since that injury, I think he fell back to a 5.5. I think in the beginning of the season, I think he's a solid 7.5, but I think he really did fall that hard. But like Marcelo was saying, and I think Marcelo will be happy to explain again, you know, he has all the makings of a good modern fullback, and he just, you know, it's his first season and during a really, really horrible season for the whole team. And, you know, it makes sense that he's had this kind of fall from grace.
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence that his fall for grace is exactly when Mourinho came out, you know,
Right.
and left, and you know he had Ryan Mason, who, you know, was trying to play him at a completely different, you know, like different system. You know, for me, I think when he was with Mourinho, he was a 7 or 8 most of the time. He's even had, you know, I think City he had like for me a 9 out of 10 performance. I think against you know. Man United, he had almost like he had a 9. So you know he's had some really good performances, and for me, I think just later on the season, I think after the injury, it also didn't help. You know, after Jose getting sacked, it didn't help him. So I think I would give him a 6.5. I just think, you know, he has a lot of potential, and I think he just needs to adapt. He needs to get you know, if we get a proper attacking manager, he can really be a very good left wing back or a left back, in my opinion. So it's like 6.5 for me for Reguilón.
Yeah. Look, for me, as much as people say he's not good defensively, it does make a difference when you have a centre back beside you that you can trust. You know, he's played alongside Dier most of this season, and for me, you know, he's enough to make anybody look bad, isn't he? You know, sometimes, like, when he's given that attacking license going forward, you need a centre back that can help with that defensive work. And Dier doesn't do it. So the fact that he's had a poor centre back beside him probably hasn't helped him. But at the end of the day, he's been given the license to go forward. So if he gets exposed defensively, you know, that's, to be honest with you, on the manager and the system. That's my opinion. Because they need to have someone, like, there's no point in telling him to bomb forward if you're having someone like Dier beside him, is there? But he's very good going forward. I like him going forward.
And he tracks back. Right? And the other thing is he tracks back, which is like, honestly, like, like David, you and I speak about this. It's not about losing the ball. It's not about, you know, like making a mistake. You know, every player makes a mistake, but it's how you react afterwards. And for me, he has the appropriate reaction.
Yeah. No, 100%. Look, he tracks back, but he's very good going forward. He gets great crosses into the box. He's put in a couple for Harry Kane to get his head onto this season. I think he even put one in for Sissoko, if I'm correct. You know, Moussa Sissoko came running into the box, put it away. You know, but not only that, he gets in the box on the end of a lot of things. He's a nuisance. He's plenty of energy. He's fit. You know, he's fast. So for me, he has all the right attributes. Shore up that centre back position beside him. We've a gem on our hands. I'm going to put it out there. I really do think that. For me, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think 6.5 is probably a bit harsh. But look, at the end of the day, there has been sometimes he's been exposed defensively. Big up, John. I hope you're having a good time out in Mexico, my man. I really do. But yeah, no, 100%. Look, I'm going to go and I'm going to give it. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But look, to everybody in the chat, we're going to end that player ratings here. That's it for the defence. Honestly, I did think we'd get through the whole squad. That's why people call me deluded. You know, because we didn't. We only got through the defence, but that's because we've gone in depth and there's so much to talk about. So, you know, we'll be doing this more. We'll get out the midfields and we'll get out the strikers as well for you guys, the attacking players. So, look, that's it for the player ratings. But what we are going to do now, you know, we're really giving you a special frenemies here today. We really are. Because we're now bringing in the goal of quick breaking news himself. It's Matt Hayes. Matt, why don't you tell us what's going on with the Poch situation? Just before you do, 194 people watching. Make sure you smash a like on the stream, a subscribe on the channel. Get your super chats in if you've enjoyed the players rating. Get your super chats in if you want to have your say on Poch and put any questions to the panel. But Matty, take it away, man. What's the latest?
Yeah, I suppose it's very poignant that he just got through the defenders tonight, as this big news on a former defender himself has come out. And the PSG sporting director Leonardo was speaking to Europe 1, who I assume is some sort of French TV channel earlier today, or only in the last hour or two. And news initially began to circulate that he had refused to comment on Mauricio Pochettino's future when asked if Poch would be at the club next season. And for about 5 or 10 minutes, Spurs fans were getting their hopes up across Twitter that his future was uncertain and he could potentially be leaving PSG. However, very, very quickly after that, Leonardo said that Pochettino has 2 years left on his contract at PSG, which through the the spanner into the works, because there was only 1 year left on his contract. He signed an 18-month deal when he was appointed at PSG in January. But it has now become very clear that, similarly to Eric Ten Hag, when we became interested in him, PSG have extended Pochettino's contract by a year in a pre-agreed clause that Pochettino has no bearing on whatsoever. And this comes only hours after Gol España, courtesy of Mario Cortegana, claimed that Mauricio Pochettino had asked to leave PSG with immediate effect. However, that wish for him may now be gone as PSG extend this contract by a further year. Now, the stories began to grow from there. Again, this all happening in the last hour or so. And Cesar Luis Merlo, another Spanish reporter, said that Mauricio Pochettino's entourage have confirmed to him that Pochettino will be staying in the French capital for the forthcoming season, which is of course devastating news for Spurs. Now, of course, the typical tabloids began to spin their stories off that, as the Daily Mirror has said that Pochettino will not be allowed to exit, and so many more stories coming through. Now, in the midst of all this, one thing that a lot of people missed is that Antonio Conte has essentially been ruled out of the Real Madrid managerial pursuit. For them, it is now between Mauricio Pochettino and Raúl González, their former striker. So a lot of Spanish sources saying that Conte is out of the Real Madrid managerial race. His tactics and man management style are seen to be too abrupt. So they're not pursuing him anymore. However, in the last 5 or 10 minutes, AS have had their say in this. Now, AS are the source that first broke the story that Pochettino had 2 demands of Spurs if he were to return, that being the 4-year contract and power on sporting decisions. However, they've now said in the last 5 or 10 minutes that in the next week, Mauricio Pochettino could make it known to PSG president Nasser Al-Khelaifi that he wishes to leave the club. It's going to be very difficult for him to do so, and I think that is entirely understandable with 2 years left on his contract, that just being extended now. It could be very, very difficult for Pochettino to leave PSG, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. The deal does look to be, to some extent, dead in the water, but as I'm sure Bobby will let you know in the live chat, we've been talking for the last 20 minutes or so, trying to figure out where this will go. And my bit of hope, I suppose, is that the £30 million that Daniel Levy saved by sacking Jose Mourinho when he did, maybe that can now be put to good use, potentially triggering some sort of clause to bring Pochettino in. In the previous contract he had, the 1 year, there was a £10 million break clause. I'm sure that will be at least doubled, but this story, up and down as it has been for the last couple of days, right now my hope is very quickly fading that Pochettino will be the next manager of Spurs, but we're not going to say no until it's confirmed.
Can I spoiler alert, can I tell you something?
Just quickly, I'll take the super chat from James Watson. James Watson, good show, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you so much, James. I really do appreciate it. Everyone else, don't be afraid to get them super chats in. You know, it doesn't have to be a big one. It could be whatever you want to put in. Just let us know your thoughts, your opinions on this breaking situation right now. Covered here at the Irish Hotspur, a courtesy of Matt Hayes, you know, the breaking news man. That's what I call him. That's his new nickname, the breaking news man. But sorry, Marcelo, you wanted to say something, my man, and then I have two questions for Matt.
Yeah, I think Pochettino will become Spurs' new manager. Again, I do think so. I just have this sneaky suspicion that I think Levy wants to make it happen just because of how atrocious the season is. 2, he came out and openly said that it was a mistake sacking him. When is the last time Levy ever comes out and openly says that he's made a mistake? He didn't even apologize for the Super League. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even apologize for the Super League. So for me, I think he will pay for that $13 million if he has to. I think he's going to try not to, obviously, but I think he will, and he knows, because he is dumb in a football sense, but he's also very smart in a PR sense. And he knows that if he brings Pochettino in, it will relieve some of the pressure from the fan base. It will. So I think he is going to make Pochettino happen. And I also think Pochettino wants it to happen. I personally, watching Pochettino in interviews, watching him come to PSG, for me, his mind is still at Spurs. Just watching him at Sky Sports, every time he talks about Spurs, he's always like, I have unfinished business. And, you can see it hurts him. It hurts him that he got sacked. Right here, he really still wants to, do something with Spurs. So I think it will happen.
No. Yeah, that's fair enough. Look, before I ask Matty the 2 questions, Jack, do you want to have a say?
Yeah, there's this odd feeling in me that this is just part of the PSG, playing hardball. And there's just the rumors, they just seem so loud at the time. And if Levy were to allow them to be that loud and allow the news to be this much about the club and about Pochettino, I think that there's a strong chance that they're trying to work some agreement for him to come back. And it might just have to come down to him resigning. And maybe that wasn't the original plan. but it might just have to be what it comes down to. And I could see him resigning sometime this week. I really have this odd feeling that he does not want to be there at PSG any longer. And that could make sense. I mean, it is an absolute, I mean, you think Spurs is a toxic atmosphere. It is a toxic place to work for. But in terms of the actual players at PSG, I mean, that is babysitting at its finest. And it's also just, it's sometimes I can imagine it might take a toll on him. Took a toll on Tuchel. So it's probably taking a toll on him. And Tuchel seems like a pretty hard-nosed guy, and it seemed to wear him down. So he's probably already been worn down by the personalities at PSG. And so I think he wants out.
I also think, just the Premier League. You know what I mean? Just being like, even Jose Mourinho said it. Premier League is the prime time show. He loved, Jose Mourinho always said he loved the Premier League because it's where it's the league everybody watches it. Yeah, sure, you can win a league, you can stay at PSG and win a League One, but Pochettino will probably be known more for being at Spurs and getting top 4 at Spurs than winning a League One with PSG. He really would because everybody expects PSG to win a League One. Every year. So if he stays at PSG and wins the League One, I don't think, for him, for a lot of managers, it's not really like a big news. Not like, in the Premier League, it's just, I don't know. There's a different feel in the Premier League. When you're managing a Premier League club, it's almost like, it's like watching, the primetime TV show. It's
the media circus that comes with it. You're constantly in the papers. You're like a celebrity. You're a superstar, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
I'll just take the super chat from Aglaia Kakaratis. She says, I think Poch will tell PSG where to stick it, and I agree that Levy will bump up the cash to save his head from the chop. Yeah, 100%. I hope so, Aglaia, because like I've explained before, it doesn't happen. I've seen people saying there will be Enoch out. If this doesn't happen, there will be Enoch out. So he's playing with fire on this one, Aglaia.
And
thank you so much for the super chat.
Just to respond to Steve Broom Hamilton, he said that I think trophies count more than finishing top 4. That's actually wrong. I always said I prefer to win a trophy over top 4. The only difference is winning a League One doesn't get you the headlines. It just doesn't. Being in the Premier League is what get you the headlines. Whether you like it or not, it's just facts.
Yeah,
I've heard you say that. Yeah.
Just two questions to put to Matt. One is is there any way around this? Obviously, Pochettino can resign, Matt. But can Spurs, first of all, pay out his contract at PSG and buy him? And second of all, is PSG, because I'm not convinced they necessarily want to keep him. Do you think they're pissed off with the way this has been handled? And the fact that, they've done this to try and make it even more difficult just to piss off and play hardball with Levy?
Well, look, to answer the first part of that question, there's definitely a way around this.
Just sorry, quickly, Matty. Marcelo has to go there, so we'll just let Marcelo say his goodbye.
Love you, Matty. Just goodbye. I won't interrupt you for too long. Love you guys. Thank you for the frenemies. Awesome. Love you.
Chat to you soon. Look, there's always a way around this. PSG can't hold Pochettino hostage if he does want to go. I do think there's definitely a possibility that PSG could have done this simply to up the price that Spurs would have to pay to bring Pochettino to Spurs, and that could be in the way of paying out his contract, or if Pochettino is to resign, there will be an element of compensation that Spurs would have to pay to PSG. I don't know the exact rules behind that or why it is the case, but we can't get Pochettino for free is where we are at the moment. And just to follow on from a point Marcelo made a while ago,
even if he resigns, Matty?
Even if he resigns, there will have to be some compensation paid. I don't know why it happens, but it is the case. I doubt it'll be anywhere near the amount we'd have to pay to buy out his contract, but it could still be a fairly hefty amount that Spurs might not even be able to negotiate on. To follow on from a point that Marcelo made, I think if we are going back to the likes of Potter Parker in the next couple of weeks, if this does fall apart, it's the end for Daniel Levy. And I think given the hope that we've had since last Thursday that Pochettino could be the next man, and even since a few days before that it could be Antonio Conte, I think we do need a marquee signing, a marquee appointment to appease this fan base and to save face for Daniel Levy. Yeah. Now, the likelihood of this happening has, of course, reduced. The Daily Mirror tonight are reporting that PSG will not even consider entering negotiations. They will entirely do everything in their power to block any move for Pochettino. Now, that is the Daily Mirror. That's certainly not the most reliable source, but it is. You have to kind of feel there is an element of truth to that. Whether or not Pochettino or whether or not PSG are happy with Pochettino, I think is one that is completely subject to debate, because Yes, they missed out in the French League title this season with Lille winning it courtesy of an incredible season by Christophe Galtier. But there are reports that PSG don't blame Pochettino for that. They think it's the issues that were there at the club before he even came in. The squad that, despite its strength in a lot of areas, is quite weak in other areas. They don't blame Pochettino for this. So they're not entirely frustrated with Pochettino. They still hope that there is a future there, that if he has a transfer market or two, that things could develop there. And speaking of the transfer market, PSG are in advanced talks to sign Achraf Hakimi from Inter Milan, and that is a £60 million signing. What's that?
They're in debt, so they'll take whatever they can get for some of these players, and PSG are pouncing on that. I think they should be. Yeah,
but that is the question. Then, is that a Pochettino signing or is that a PSG signing? And I put this question to Guillaume Balaguer on his live stream yesterday. I said, is that a sign that the Pochettino could be staying at PSG if they're signing players for him? And it's not quite the case, because PSG, I think, like Spurs in some way, the board makes some signings, the managers make other signings. So you can't really read too much into that. I think what is there is a potential very interesting merry-go-round is that given that Real Madrid sold Achraf Hakimi to Inter Milan, as part of that deal, there is a clause that a parity clause where if Inter Milan accept that offer from PSG, Real Madrid have the chance to match it, in which case Inter would have to accept their bid, which I think, with the potential for Pochettino going to Real Madrid as well, I think could be setting up a very interesting transfer saga there. But with this, where we are now, of course, it is less likely that Pochettino leaves, but it's not impossible. There are ways around this. I think it is simply down to the two, Poch resigning or Spurs paying compensation. Like I said, I think Daniel Levy, if that is the case, needs to put that £30 million that he saved on sacking Jose Mourinho when he did to good use by bringing in Pochettino and by paying whatever PSG want. We could be in luck, as I said, AS saying that Pochettino is going to meet with Nasser Al-Khelaifi to inform him of his intent to resign. They are both in London. Al-Khelaifi has been meeting with Pochettino in London since he returned home last Thursday. And one thing that a lot of people need to take into consideration is one that I think a lot of people are overlooking in their opinions of this subject. And this isn't simply a footballing decision. This isn't FIFA career mode. This isn't a football manager. This is Pochettino's life. And that is something that a lot of people are, like I said, overlooking, because he has moved to Paris since January. He's still living in a hotel. His eldest son followed him over there shortly afterwards. His youngest son, Mauricio Pochettino, is still living in London with his wife, Karina, that son playing with Watford. Poch mightn't be happy in Paris. There are a lot of reports that he isn't. He mightn't be happy with the politics going on behind the scenes at PSG, as a lot of managers aren't. That is why Thomas Tuchel left PSG. He was very unhappy with the board. A lot of people said it after PSG were knocked out of the Champions League by Manchester City. This club doesn't suit Pochettino because their players were out in the pitch kicking City's players left, right and centre. The mentality of that club mightn't be something that Pochettino wants. It is so much more than PSG are a better footballing team than Spurs. There's so much more to that. And I think that is where the hope is still there. And I think that is where this deal may still happen.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. And to be honest with you, I'm actually just getting tired of this. I thought when the season ends, nice, we'll get a break. We should have the manager in by then. If not, should be done the week after the season. Happy days. You can go for a week or two, chill out, and you know what's coming. You know what I mean? You can take a break. But, after the long season, all they've done is we honestly, we must have gone through about 30 names for this position right now. And I'm just wondering, is it boiling back to what I was saying? If you sack Mourinho, what managers are thinking, why would I go to Tottenham and put my reputation on them? Because, managers looking from the outside in. Mourinho, one of the greatest managers ever to grace the game. Pochettino, one of the best managers currently in the world right now. Both can't be bad managers. I just wonder, is it kind of a name, like a thing where we're just flirting with all these names to see what bites and see what we can get in? I just hope, I hope I'm wrong on that. I hope it's not, because if it is, it's worrying, because the amount of managers we've gone through, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's head spinning, to be honest with you, because, we've gone from Harry Potter, that big saga, Ten Hag, that big saga, now on to Poch. Where from here? And again,
do you want the list? Do you want the list of managers we've been linked with?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want the full list?
Yeah, go on, give it to us.
Eric Ten Hag, Julian Nagelsmann, Jesse Marsch, Christophe Galtier, Ralph Rangnick, Hans-Dieter Flick, Gianpiero Gasparini, Scott Parker, Graham Potter, Maurizio Sarri, Antonio Conte, Ryan Mason, Brendan Rodgers, Nuno Espirito Santo, Rafa Benitez, Massimiliano Allegri, Joachim Löw, Roberto Martinez, Marcelo Bielsa, Jurgen Klinsmann, Steven Gerrard, Gareth Southgate, Giovanni Trapattoni, Frank Rijkaard, Marcelino, Julian Lopetegui, Eddie Howe, Oliver Glasner, Paulo Fonseca, Simone Inzaghi, Sergei Rebrov, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Ledley King, Chris Powell, Diego Simeone, Niko Kovac, Sean Dyche, Sergio Conceição, Chris Wilder, Xavi Hernandez, Mauricio Pochettino, and today Louis van Gaal was also thrown in the mix.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, man, Robbie.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a laughing. That's why we're a laughing stock. You know, we can't even get the most important position within our team correct. And not only that, but if you are going to, rightly so, you're going to scout a manager, but keep it quiet. You know, the fact it's common knowledge and in the media and the fact that journalists are quite happy to go out there and link us to manager after manager and then be proven wrong just shows how much they take the Tottenham news seriously. So no, it's embarrassing in my eyes. You know, some people look at it. Oh, look at us being associated with so many managers. No, it's fucking embarrassing.
It's very interesting you make the point there about how, you know, it's in the press so much with every manager we're being linked to, because Tottenham fully have the ability to get this deal done without anybody knowing anything about it.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a bit more difficult with PSG and whatever they might leak to the press and things like that, but don't forget, last summer we got Gareth Bale and Sergio Reguilón 99% signed before anybody knew about it. If people think that news broke on a Tuesday and they were signed by the Friday, if you think that's all that happened, it's simply not. A lot went on behind the scenes for that deal to get done. Spurs fully have the capabilities to do this behind the scenes without anyone knowing, and just all of a sudden spring out a manager. And look, even Alistair Gold said that, you know, you can't rule out candidates that haven't been mentioned yet. Now, whether or not that was Pochettino, whether or not Spurs wanted this to be done behind the scenes or whatever it is, the fact that every single manager that we've approached has been in the press, I think says a lot about, you know, whether this may be about Levy trying to appease the fans.
Yeah. The mole is still there.
It's so annoying because, you know, like with what Pochettino has said in the press and everything else, you know, before, like, you know, I will be back one day, this, that, and the other. To, you know, kind of getting your hopes up, realizing the dream is coming back. You know, where we can rebuild under this man and hopefully go to the next level. You know, hopefully this guy can come in and keep Kane. To now to a point where it's getting unbearable, if I'm honest. It really is getting unbearable. It really is.
I love this.
Dave, it's not over, mate. Keep it. Yeah, hold my list. But, Dave, honestly, it's not over, mate. Levy is being levied. In a way,
no, look, it's a great PR stunt by Levy for the season ticket renewals, 100%.
But we've got to remember, this is probably the first time. I mean, that the discontent of the fans has always been on Levy's shoulder. He's always had that while he's been at the club. Well, certainly in the last 10 or so years since everything with his transfers. But I think he's never been under so much pressure. And like you say, Dave, you know, for Pochettino to be so widely reported and Levy coming out saying he's made a mistake, etc., for him not to pull this deal through is going to be Matt, and I think you've said, and I think Jack said, it's going to be the end of Levy one way or another. It's going to be untenable him staying there. So
Bob, I've seen comments. I've seen people saying if the Poch deal doesn't happen, they are going to Enoch out and they fully back it. I've seen them say it. They've said it in my chat. They will switch.
Rightly so, mate. Rightly so. And I'd say it's massive pressure on Levy as well. For the first time in his tenure under Tottenham, I think he's actually losing sleep. I think he's always not giving a shit. But I think with this, well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, even if Poch
photocopies of these if it doesn't happen.
Well, for me, it's still Enoch out, even if Poch comes in, but that's a different conversation anyway. But we can't underestimate how much pressure Levy's under as well. That's why I do think it's gonna happen. 20-30 million, I think the figure is, isn't it, Matt? If we're gonna
At least,
buyout at least, yeah. Which you know, he didn't have to fork out anything for Jose, so hopefully, you know, a bit of money been put aside for you know, in his kitty, in his little kitty for managers, and you know, he'll use it on Poch. It's
just really annoying. Just give me 1 second. I'll tell everybody why. You know, big up everybody. There's over 200 people watching. Make sure, you know, you have smashed the like on the stream, subscribe on the channel. And also, don't be afraid to get them super chats in with your opinions, your thoughts. I know it's the end of the weekend. Everyone's bank account is probably empty. I know that's the case. You know what I mean? Especially now that we're out of lockdown and the weather we've had over here in Ireland today. You know, but no, like with Pochettino and like Levy, right? The thing is with Levy, with Pochettino, he was given a second chance, right, to be able to bring Pochettino in, back him massively this summer, and, you know, prove to the fans that, okay, made a mistake, I've held my hands up, and I'm going to do it properly now. He's had a chance. This is his golden chance to do that. His golden chance to do that. He's not going to. He's not going to. And this is the thing, I don't think the guy gets it. I don't think he gets how much he really is playing with fire right now. Because, like I said, he has a golden chance to do it. But if it doesn't happen, the people that were kind of sitting on the fence, or, you know, or Ian and Kim because of this, they're going to be pissed off. Because one thing everybody loves, even though there's so many splits in the fan base right now, the one thing everybody loves is Pochettino. Yep. It's Pochettino. He's single-handedly the one man that can walk into this club tomorrow and bring everybody together. Single-handedly. That man right there. Single-handedly can walk into this club tomorrow and bring the fan base united in behind the manager, and that's the start of getting everyone united again. With Levy coming in and backing him and putting the money where his mouth is and everything else. But honestly, it just looks like he's taking us for another ride. If this happens, we have to do more than ever to get this guy out of the club, because it just goes to show. It's no coincidence it was leaked with the season ticket renewals coming up. They probably weren't getting as many renewals as they thought they were going to get, because people didn't know what manager was coming in, whether Harry Kane was staying. Drop the Pochettino into the news. You know, people will think for themselves, they think there's a chance Harry Kane will stay. I'm all good, and they renew their tickets. Oh my God, he is playing. Honestly, that guy will start a riot in North London if this doesn't happen. I can see people just getting really, really pissed off, and it's up to him. The ball is look, everything is in Levy's court right now. What he wants to do, you go and pay him, and you get him back. If not, he's in for a lot. We're all in for a long season. Strap yourselves in. It's like going around a roller coaster 10 times and it's broken. You just keep going and going and going, because it's going to be a long season next season. It will be if this doesn't happen. Jack, you've been quiet. You want to say anything, man?
Yeah, I'm just I guess the only reason I've been quiet is just because it does make it seem a lot harder, and you know, it just, for me, if this were to fall through for Levy, it just seems like he himself would know that would be an absolute detriment to his reputation. It would be the final straw. And so that's where I kind of do see this actually going through, is I think Levy does feel that pressure, and he might actually go against, you know, his principles of, you know, when the price is too high, you know, don't go for it. I think he'll probably do whatever it takes at this point. I think he does recognize that he can't get away with, you know, what he's done this whole time at Spurs next season. When the fans come back, when the fans are in fuller voice, I think he is very scared about what's going to happen and what it's going to look like for him, and the embarrassment to the sponsors and etc. So I think he's just going to have to find a way to get this through. And so that's my biggest hope.
Quick question for them. Sorry, what?
I was going to say, can I follow on from that point? Because it's not just Daniel Levy whose reputation and jobs on the line here, because Steve Hitchen has been the one for the most part heading up this hunt for a manager, and he, more than anyone else, has been banging the drum of Mauricio Pochettino for a return. So it's not just Daniel Levy who's putting everything on the line here. Steve Hitchen, especially after the Milan Skriniar debacle last summer, he's got a lot to lose.
Yeah, 100%. And just a quick question for everybody on the panel here, really, is if this doesn't happen, do you think Joe Lewis, you know, do you think that fans will be so unhappy and disgruntled that Joe Lewis might start rolling heads, you know, to kind of cover up for it, but just put more people, like, ultimately he's going to end up putting more people in the same position that are going to be yes men anyway, right? But do you think he might roll a few heads might roll to try and appease the fans?
No, because I think he's just oblivious to it all, Dave, if I'm honest with you, mate. I don't think he sat on his yacht, he realises the enormity of how important a Pochettino is for the direction of the club, for the trust in Levy. You know, me personally, what I think is irrelevant. But like you say, there'll be a lot of people who are going to go from Levy not sure to definitely Levy out if they don't bring him in. But if they do bring him in, there will be certain people who will be Levy out to suddenly Levy in. You know, they'll see that as making up for a lot of things. I don't think Joe Lewis is aware of the bigger picture. If Pochettino doesn't come in, mate, after the shit show that Levy's produced for the last year and the evident loud voices that are coming his way, disgruntled fans' voices that are coming his way. If over after all that, Levy can't go the extra mile to bring Poch in, I think we'll just might have to accept that we're the next Newcastle. I really believe that. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that. I was on a WhatsApp chat today, and I said, look, there's been so many instances where we've been let down, and this is the biggest challenge for me after the debacle of last season. The ESL, the manager change, the non-direction, non-identity, the non-backing of going the extra mile to get the world-class player in. I think we just might have to sit back and accept we've got a great stadium. Let's be honest, Newcastle ain't got a bad stadium as well. St James's Park, great stadium, very high. I always think about that. But we'll just might have to accept we are the next Newcastle.
Yeah. Matt, Jack, you anything to say there?
But the thing with Joe Lewis is that it's hard to know like whether he really feels like the pulse or the intensity of the atmosphere of the Spurs fans, like whether he even at all understands it or could even fathom maybe how fed up fans are. It's hard to know, like, because with a lot of things though, he can have people that report to him, and tell them how the fans are doing. It's like with a lot of big corporations, you tell them what bad press there's been and what good press there's been. And he, maybe in a way, does know what's happening, but it could be plausible that if this doesn't go through, he might have to, find somebody to blame, find somebody to out. But it being Levy, that would just seem ridiculous given the familial relationship that they have, as well as the bond just through business as well. It just seems like, they're too thick of skin to sack each other. So it may be Hitchin. Maybe Hitchin is the scalp that they'll look to get rid of, but that won't really do much at the end of the day, because I think we sometimes have said Hitchin has not been great, but he's also been very much had his hands tied behind his back in plenty of scenarios as well. Yeah. And he's honestly brought through some decent signings where he could have had better ones because he's brought up good names in the past, but wasn't able to get them through. But they might wave around Hitchin's scalp as something to the fans, but obviously I don't think that is convincing.
Yeah, 100%, Matty.
I think if this managerial appointment goes wrong, the only person that will suffer and whose job will be possibly lost is whoever the manager is. He'll be sacked in 12, 18, 24 months' time if things aren't going well. I genuinely believe, and Jack, I completely get where you're coming from, but I doubt Joe Lewis has anybody talking to him about the fans. There's one piece of information that Joe Lewis wants from his investment in Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and it's the bottom line of the accounts and how much profit he's made this month, how much profit he's made this year. That's all he cares about. Because if he didn't care about that, he wouldn't be out in his yacht in Florida. He would have been in that Champions League final. He would show his face at the stadium every now and then. Roman Abramovich went out onto the pitch last night after Chelsea won the Champions League and bizarrely met Thomas Tuchel for the first time ever, given he's been in charge of his team since January. Can you for a second imagine Spurs win anything and Joe Lewis on 99% of Spurs fans don't know what Joe Lewis looks like because he doesn't do anything. He isn't involved with the club in any way. He cares about the money, and that is that. On the point someone made a minute ago about is it possible, I think Andy Strange said it, is he doing it to mess around with Spurs after we sacked him? Jermaine Gina said he was interviewing Pochettino in March, so 2 months after he was appointed manager of PSG, and Gina said he was taken aback by how how adamant Pochettino was that he wanted to and that he will return to Spurs one day. So I think it is only a matter of time before Pochettino comes back to Spurs. Maybe now it is a bit too soon or something like that. But one final thought on that is the last two managers who left PSG won European titles this season. Unai Emery with Villarreal and Thomas Tuchel with Chelsea. So if we get Poch back, is that a European Conference League wrapped up next season? Who knows?
Don't do it to us, Matty. Don't do it to us. Mourinho won trophies everywhere he's went, bar Tottenham. I'm not falling into that trap ever again.
That's fair.
Never falling into that trap again.
Even if Levy does the unthinkable and pay the 20-30 million, or Poch resigns, because even if Poch resigns, a lot of people think, Poch resigns, there won't be anything to pay. I mean, that's the biggest loophole that's evident out there. Of course there'll be something to pay, because otherwise you get every manager resigning and then signing for another. So there will be a length of time where if they sign within that length of time, there will be a compensation paid to the team that is leaving. But if Levy does go with it and pay the 20-30 million, I still don't want Poch back if it's not backed. There's no point of getting Poch back if he's going to be going through the same shit as last time.
Honestly, I just think it'd be so stupid of Pochettino to come back without having guarantees in a contract. To say I'm going to have this much to sign, because I agree with you. Look, there's no point of any manager coming into this club. Until we back him realistically. But the thing is, what we asked for at the end of the season was to know what direction we were going in. Do we have the money to rebuild, and can we sell players? If that's the case, by all means, go and get Poch back, get into the likes of Ten Hag, someone like that. If we can't do it and it's not possible, you have to bring in a manager that's going to get the best out of the squad that we have here, right? And we still don't know what direction we want to go in. No one from the club has still come out and made a statement and said, look, we're looking for a rebuild here. This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. I know some people are going to say, obviously, they're not going to put their cards out in the press, but they can release some sort of statement to kind of give us an inkling on what direction we want to go in.
They've released the profile, haven't they? Yeah. They've released a profile, haven't they, Dave? The kind of profile manager that they're looking for. Forward-thinking, Tottenham way, etc. Basically, a Pochettino. So they've released, or they've mentioned it, or it's come out that what kind of manager that they're going for. But again, it's all very well bringing out all the stats and facts about what the kind of manager that they're looking for. But if you're not going to back him, you could bring through Alex Ferguson in his prime with a Back to Future time machine, and it still wouldn't work if he's not backed. So there is an element of irrelevance to the whole conversation, but we need Poch back, and I do believe we'll get him back. I honestly do believe that screenshot is waiting. That screenshot is waiting.
Me too.
100%. Look, lads, before I do end it off, because I'm not messing, I've been here for nearly 3 hours now. My hole is getting a bit sore and a bit bruised. So I have the comfiest chairs behind me. So look, is there anything any of you guys want to say before we do end off?
A bit of cream, yogurt, that normally helps, mate.
My missus would be delighted opening the bucket of natural yogurt and just sitting in it, lad. She'd be delighted, wouldn't she?
That's it.
But
that's
anything you want to say on Pochettino? Huh?
I said that'll be the spicy one. Just don't go for the spicy one.
No, but is there anything anyone wants to say on Pochettino or anything before we let you all plug your channels?
Please,
Jack, you think he's coming, don't you?
I'm with you, Bob. I have this feeling of just like, Levy and Lewis, they may be the worst human beings on the planet, but sometimes the worst human beings on the planet, they aren't idiots, and I do think that he is an idiot when it comes to running a football club, but he's not an idiot when it comes to his image or when it comes to what people think of him. He might not care what people think of him, but I think in these moments, the pressure is getting to Levy. It might not be getting to Lewis. Yeah. Lewis might not care. But, this is what I mean. It's like, even if all they care about is the returns, I do mean there are people that tell them what the response is, what the reputation is, what people are saying about them. They are told that every day. And I think at a certain point, they are told that you need to do something in order to win back over a certain percentage of a fan base so that things just don't come falling down and crashing. And I think this Pochettino appointment is the one that's going to try to repair that fan base. And like we said, there's so many that are Enoch out and Levy out that would never have been Enoch out and Levy out before. And I think they're trying to squash that because, the more that grows, I think the more it's going to be difficult for them to overcome it. And they see this as maybe their kind of trump card to win back over that huge majority, that silent majority of fans that kind of just go wherever the mainstream is. And right now that mainstream is Enoch out, Levy out. And I think they're trying to squash it.
Yeah, 100%. So what? Look, anyone else want to say anything there quickly on the Poch situation before I let everyone plug their channels?
I'll just say for any fans like myself who may be kind of losing faith, the odds on Pochettino returning to Spurs have not budged at all this evening.
Good.
Which I think is would be a nice relief for a lot of people. The only betting platform where it has actually moved a bit is Betfair Exchange, but that is essentially people betting against each other. There's no sources or whatever. Not follow that. It's like David Foy's betting against you. The odds for that one have drifted to 7-2. But aside from that, he is the odds-on favourite to join Spurs still on all of the big betting sites. I'm talking Sky Bet, Paddy Power, William Hill, Betfair, BetVictor, and Boyle Sports. So fingers crossed, it is the case. I'm quickly losing faith, but I'm not going to give up on it just yet.
Yeah, 100%. I just watched the story. Says here, I agree with this comment. Levy is playing the fans like a fiddle yet again. Poch is not coming back. Potter is the cheapest option, and we all know Scrooge Levy. 100%. I couldn't agree more. Brian, my man, would you just after coming in just as we're about to end off?
Yes, Dave surprises, isn't it, Dave? The fact that Poch is finally on the agenda is close to coming back. Then it was a surprise that the contract's been triggered. Then it's a surprise that the odds haven't changed at all. But the biggest surprise is that we never thought we'd end this stream talking about what to put on your arsehole. So
No, it's just a bit bruised from sitting here for so long. That's all, lad. That's all. I don't have the most comfiest of chairs. I need to upgrade the chair situation. I need to get like a nice padded swivel chair or something like that. That's what I need. But honestly, look, look, everyone, you've been treated today. Not only have you got frenemies, you had stats with Jack. You have a little preview on what's to come with there, and you've also had Matt Hayes coming on breaking news, followed by Bob Spur as well. So you've really been treated out there today, guys. So big yourselves up. Make sure you have smashed a like on the stream or subscribe on the channel. And if anyone wants to put in a super chat to show their appreciation, feel free. But look, we'll start with Jack, or we'll start with Matty and work our way back. We'll start with Matty, go to Bob Spur, and then back to Jack. Matty, my man, a lot of people in here praising you. A lot of them are already a member, your follower on your channel, already over 7,000 subs. I predict going to reach 10 before the start of next season. But look, where can they find you?
Big. Matt Hayes Tottenham blog on YouTube. It's the most unimaginative name you can possibly think of, but it's there now, so I have to keep it. News on Tottenham's pursuit of a manager the whole way through to the appointment, which I'm really hoping is going to be very soon, but as well all through the summer, the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series, where you'll get the first transfer news always, unless of course David's streaming, because he's class too. But yeah, like David said, hoping to get to the 10k before the new season. It's a big expectation, but if anyone can do it, it's this incredible Spurs community on YouTube. But everyone, while you're here, smash the like button for Dave, subscribe to the channel. He deserves it, and give Bob and Jack the same support.
No, I appreciate it. I just want to say to everybody, the watch-alongs that, we done there for the season, absolutely fantastic. Matty, he's a great guy. He's a great presenter. He's very talented. He's brilliant at what he does. The transfer window is where he loves most. He's constantly putting out streams. It's like having Sky Sports on YouTube, really, when you listen to Matt during the transfer window. It's absolutely brilliant. So honestly, everybody, get over and check out Matt Hayes. It's a great channel. Matt, feel free to drop the link in, and feel free to drop Bob Spurs in there as well, so people just know where to go. Bob, where can people find you, lad?
Just to follow on, Matt's new layout on breaking news. It's very sports news-esque, isn't it? The whole sidebar and everything, absolutely fantastic. And I'll be honest with you, that's where I'm getting all my news from right now. So there's no reason whatsoever, mate, you're not going to be hitting 10k plus. Before the
Matt's problem is he doesn't back himself enough.
Mate, it's all right. It's got enough backing behind him that he doesn't need to. So 100% legend. No, it's all good. Mine's a little channel, 500 and something subs. I'm starting a weekly show tomorrow that obviously about, Dave. It's called 4 in the Wall. is just going to be me and 4 YouTubers sitting there, or hopefully one non-YouTuber, a fan, sitting there talking about the week or anything regarding football. Could be back in the day, future, Spurs, not Spurs, anything else. I'm sure Pochettino will be coming up in the conversation. And my first episode's tomorrow.
Pretty sure that's what let him dominating the show, lad.
Yeah. So, my first show's tomorrow, 10 p.m. UK time. I'll be putting a link out later, and hopefully you guys can join me there.
No, 100%. Look, Bob Spur, another great channel I've had the pleasure of being part of over the season. Also, I love going on there. The guy, he finds some great guests. He's well able to bring them all together. Everybody, get over and check out Bob Spur. He's been great addition to the Spurs family. The content creators and stuff like that. So everybody do get over and check it out. He's constantly grinding away, and he's only getting bigger and bigger. So make sure you're one of the early ones over there, and keep following him. Make sure you smash the subscribe on Bob Spur TV. Jack, first of all, personally, I want to say thank you so much for the stats, man. I really do appreciate it. The time you put into them, how you presented them, coming on here, discussing them and everything else. I hope we've done you justice, man. Absolute brilliant. And it's just a sneak preview for everybody of what's to come next season. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'd love to get feedback in the comments right now if you've enjoyed Jack's stats. You know what I mean? So let me know in the comments. But Jack, where can everybody find you? You're so talented, man.
You can follow me on Twitter, Jack_Kanicki, and then you can find me here at the Irish Hotspur all the time. I mean, I'm always happy to help out David. It's been an absolute honor to be a part of the Frenemies. It feels like a very special crowd. It's like being part of the Messi, Neymar, Suarez, but I'm neither of those front three. I'm almost kind of like Coutinho on the bench, coming in. And it really was an absolute honor, David. I love Frenemies, love watching it, and just being in between you guys, holding each other back. Obviously, it wasn't as much of a, as a debate today, but really was an absolute honor. And so you can always find me here at the Irish Hotspur, helping out David with anything, hosting, giving my thoughts. So please find me here or follow me on Twitter. And I really want to apologize that, we only got through the defenders today. I just want to say, I think it just has to do with just the defenders being so awful this season, and all the support in the chat and all the super chats as well. It just really is it's just going to be a 2-part show. And so you guys, maybe in a way you guys are lucky, we're going to save all our energy for the rest of the team and the way that we're going to attack them. So thank you so much for all the support, everyone. Please, we had a lot of people in the chat. We had a lot of people watching today. So if you're new, please subscribe, please like, and give David all the support you can.
No, thank you so much, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Jack, people are absolutely loving the stats. So people are going to love the shows coming out next season. Stats with Jack. It's going to be a tongue twister. I'm going to get that wrong so many times, man. Jack, your show is going to get me clipped all over the place, lad. So it is. Right. But no, honestly, it's a good insight into what's to come. I really enjoyed it. Jack, absolutely tremendous, and thank you for your contribution. I really, really do appreciate it. You need to know that. Super chat from James McKevitt here. Says, have a great summer to all my fellow Spurs fans, and maybe see you in the stadium, please God, next season. Look, 100%, I will get over the games. Don't worry about that. And, what I would like to organise is when I do get over is, I'm going to let everybody know. I'm going to put a time. I'm going to be in a pub. Come down and join me. Matt will most likely be with us as well. So, come down, join us, have a drink with us. You know what I mean? Everything else, get down, And because I would like to see, the faces behind the names and everyone that's constantly contributing, liking the videos, subscribing the videos, sharing them, the super chatters. So I would like to meet the fans and the followers. So I will organise something over time, so it'll be great. And I'll let everyone know plenty of time so you can make arrangements so you can get down there as well. So it'll be absolutely brilliant. But big up, James. And I'll definitely hit you up when I'm over, my man, 100%. Look, I want to say, big up Danny Kiriakou in the building. What a guy. He says, love you all, boys. Big up, Danny. I love you, man. Another great contributor to the channel. Very, very, very intelligent guy. Very switched on up here he is. Very switched on. He's well able to decipher things. What's the story? Thanks for everything, lads. You're all great. I hope to see you all down the road. Thank you so much, 100%. And that, you better be coming over with me next time we're going over as well. It's no party without you, my man. He may be an outlaw, but trust me, he's great banter. Great banter. Some people think he's younger with me with some of his witty lines. He's brilliant. But honestly, guys, it's been a great show. I'm going to shut up now. It's been a great show. Make sure you have smashed the like on the stream. subscribe on the channel. Massive thank you to Marcelo for helping this frenemies happen. Massive thank you for Jack for providing the stats. Massive thank you to Matt for providing the breaking news. And massive thank you for Bob coming on and filling in for Marcelo when he went. It's been a great show, guys. Sorry we couldn't get through all the player ratings. That just goes to show how good Jack's stats are. So what we'll do is we'll bring out another one where we do the midfield and the strikers. Big yourselves up. Have a great evening. Don't do anything I wouldn't. And as always, even though we're pissed off with the club, it's always come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Poch. Come on, Poch.
Get on, Poch.